San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And happy what day is it? Wednesday? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody out there in America's finest city. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Got a couple extra hours of sleep here, Frank. What a weird week it's been so far. You had Monday off. We did the morning show yesterday. It's now Wednesday.
Feels like Thursday.
It does feel like a Thursday. Well, it feels like a lot of different days. You know what it doesn't feel like? It doesn't feel like Wednesday. It definitely feels like Thursday because we got USD men's basketball tonight against Washington State, and that's usually a Thursday. I don't really do games on Wednesdays. That's never really part of the West Coast Conference schedule. But we have a game tonight against Washington State. Should be a fun time at the JCP. Aztecs basketball is in action tonight against Grand Canyon. We're going to talk about that game in just a little bit. I know Ben Higgins just wrapped up their show talking about the Aztecs and Grand Canyon. We'll talk about that in the next couple hours or so. We're going to dive into some NFL news around the National Football League as there are, multiple coaching moves that still need to be made, some coaching moves that have already made. So a lot of different coaching carousel, if you will, in the National Football League. We'll talk about in the noon hour. Robert Kraft talking about some ideas for the NFL, what they want to do. Sounds like they want 18 regular season games. I don't know. Does anybody notice the fact we got Jared Stidham starting in the AFC Championship game? Anybody notice that? I mean, no offense to Jared Stidham, but maybe we shouldn't have all these games in the NFL because by the time we get to meaningful games and playoff games, they start looking like preseason games with who's left. It's a violent sport these guys play. Let's keep adding games. So by the time we get to the end of the season, when it's supposed to be at its best, we're going back to the beginning. I mean, look at the Buffalo Bills roster they had against Denver. Look at some of these rosters. Look at the Niners. San Francisco had nobody left on their team. It's like war of attrition in the NFL. We're going to add another regular season game. It's all right. We'll get rid of the playoff games, the preseason games that get these guys tuned up, ready to go. We'll limit the mandatory training and conditioning and the hitting that they have to do to get their bodies in shape. But you know what? Let's add another game. Try to make it even more banged up when we get to the postseason. We'll talk about that later on. I don't know. Maybe they should just, instead of adding games, why don't they cut the games down to 16 and why don't they add more teams? I'd rather do that. Get the same amount of inventory. Still looking for the same amount of inventory. Give teams extra buys in there. Try to preserve some of these guys. Maybe that would be a better course of action, just adding another game. Anyway, we'll talk about that later on in the noon hour. We got more college football craziness that's going on. We'll talk about that in the 1 o'clock hour. Some way too early predictions for 2026. I got up this morning, Frank, and I watched the Big 12 schedule release show. That was great. I was locked in. I already knew all the opponents. I needed to know when they were playing so I can make some trips. TCU at Arizona, November 7th. Yay. Definitely be going to that game.
Yay.
Finish the season with Arizona, Kansas State, Utah, and Texas Tech. That's going to be rough. But I tell you what, Sonny Dykes is usually better at the end of the year than he is at the beginning of the year. So you know what? Have some opportunity. Maybe we make a show trip to Disney World September 26th weekend.
Show trip?
Yeah, so they could play UCF at the Bounce House.
Show trip.
Yeah, we'll have Frank do some videos. So he'll travel the world at the Epcot. It'll be the food review at the Epcot stuff. Be a good time. Go hang out with the mouse. Anyway. There it is.
Forgot we had that for a second.
That's right. I don't know when the Pac-12 schedule is going to come out. Good news for the Aztecs. They're going to be playing a Pac-12 schedule. We don't know if they're going to play 7 conference games or 8. Made it sound like that they're going to play 8 conference games.
I think we do.
Yeah,
Actually.
We unintentionally do know that. They were talking about the flex option for the last week. I love that idea. My resident friend that is a Washington State grad, Perez, he hates that idea. He's like, how are people expected to travel for these games? They don't know. I'm like, come on, man. Really? That's what we're gonna die on right here.
How do you expect people to travel for a NFL playoff game when you don't know where they're going?
Right, that's what I said. He's like, well, that's the playoffs. It's different. I'm like, no, it's not. It's the same thing. That's a foul.
Come on.
Foul. Throw out the fouls.
He draws the foul.
Foul. Stupid. We'll talk about that later on as well. But the most glaring thing that is part of the sports world that appeals to us here in San Diego is Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball is dealing with their own college football craziness right now, I would say. Would you disagree with that, Frank? I mean, I would say this is pretty much like the college football stuff that people are complaining about with NIL. The only difference is it's a professional league, and so there's a collective bargaining agreement that needs to be hashed out, which means you can actually negotiate these problems out. Now, here's the deal. Where we wanted to start our show. We're going to hear from Buster only in the next segment because he was on with Gwen and Chris. He was the most optimistic about not missing games that I have heard any reporter. He was. He actually makes a lot of sense. We'll play what he said a little bit later, but he actually makes sense compared to all the doom and gloom from all these, reporters that might have some agents talking to them about the players are never going to agree to a salary cap. Who's got the leverage right now? In the court of public opinion, it's starting to lean a little bit more towards the owners who are fed up with the fact that the Dodgers are utilizing all of the loopholes in Major League Baseball to make a super team. Now, these organizations are not mad at the Dodgers. They're mad at the problems that have been now exploited by Los Angeles. We haven't even talked about the other major advantage that LA has, at least on the airwaves, about the entire situation of how the Dodgers got their TV contract. Now, do you know anything about the TV contract advantage that they have over everybody else, aside from the fact that it's an $8 billion contract until 2038?
No.
Do you know about the McCourt family? The McCourt family used to own the Dodgers back in the mid-2000s when they were lousy. Do you remember those years? Like
No.
Nobody was going to Dodger games?
Yeah.
So the McCourt family, they had a situation in which either the husband or the wife, there was some sort of cheating going on between the two. Okay? They both own the team. The McCourt family both own the team. The husband, I forget the guy's name, he owned the team. The wife owned the team. The wife was very much involved with the organization. So, as part of the divorce hearings, the man, the husband, I forget the guy's first name, Mr. McCourt said, "This is my team." And Mrs. McCourt said, absolutely not. This is our team. And so
Incorrect.
they were going to go to divorce court. And in the process, they were going to file for bankruptcy for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And then Major League Baseball was like, whoa. You're not going to do that. You can't do that. You want to know why you can't do that? Because they might ask us to open up our books. That's not happening. You're not doing this, okay? You're not doing this. You're not opening up your books. We're going to fix this problem right now. And so instead of going to court where things could have been exposed for Major League Baseball, they started putting a lot of things together in terms of trying to settle the situation. And in doing so, not only was the team up for sale or had to be up for sale, the Dodgers contract for their TV contract was up. And in these legalities that they had to do, they had to come up with and predict what the Dodgers TV contract was. You follow me so far?
Yeah.
So what they assumed was the Dodgers TV contract was going to be for $83 million a year until 2038. It's not $83 million a year until 2038, by the way. So that was their guess. So on the books, when they do the revenue share, now this is a very SparkNote version. So you want to look up the stuff. It's online. But that is the SparkNote version of this deal. $83 million is what's on the books for Major League Baseball for their revenue sharing. The Dodgers have to, I think, take 30% of that and give it to the rest of the pot like they do with the luxury tax. Still following me?
Yeah.
Well, the problem is their TV contract is not $83 million. It's like $322 million a year. But they're only getting taxed on the $83 million. So instead of paying 30% of the $322 a year, the Dodgers are only paying 30% of the $83 or $87 million a year that it is. So they get to bank all this money while every other like the Mets, the Yankees, the Red Sox, a lot of the organizations that have these massive TV deals, they have to pay 30% of their contract.
Projected.
The Dodgers only have to pay 30% of the $87 million because that's what's on the books until 2038. Again, until 2038, that's not changing. So they get to keep most of the money that they have because they're getting taxed on a different set, a different number. So like the Yankees, whatever their TV contract is, I don't know what it is, which is probably in the hundreds of millions of dollars, they're getting charged 30% or whatever it is on the hundreds of millions of dollars. The Dodgers are only getting charged 30% on the $87 million. So they have that working for them. They got the Ohtani clause working for them, where you go get the superstar that represents an entire country that's going to follow him everywhere he goes. And the fact that he already makes a ton of money in Japan, so he could defer money. No other star was going to defer money like that. Ohtani can because he's making $40 million a year in endorsements, minimum. And then everybody else starts taking the deferred payments. So they have all these deferments. And then the other loophole that they have done that we talked about on this show last year is the other rule with the luxury tax. Whatever your payments are, whatever your penalties are in the luxury tax, right? Let's say you have $1 million in luxury tax payments. Any money that you invest into your own stadium, you get to take out of your luxury tax payments as a tax write-off. So if the Dodgers pay $1 million, I'm going to keep it simple. If they pay $1 million in luxury tax to the pot, and then they go in and they renovate their stadium for $1 million, they're putting zero into the pot. But again, like tax breaks work, right? Like tax write-offs, they're still paying the money in taxes, but instead of giving it to a pot that they all split, they just are putting it directly into their own stadium, which you're allowed to do. So what the Dodgers are doing across the board is all legal. It's all legal. It's all part of the rules. But the problem is they have a couple of things that work in their favor that nobody else in baseball has, which has now led to this point where they could just throw money at whatever problem, on top of the fact that they are in a massive market that has a gigantic population. Oh, and by the way, their brand is now international because of the Japan pipeline. So, yes, they're doing everything according to the rules, but they get the benefit of certain rules that other teams don't get the benefit of. And this Kyle Tucker sign, to me, honestly, there's been a lot of straws that have broken the camel's back for the Dodgers and the rest of the ownership group. This one is just the icing on the cake. And so right now, the owners of baseball are upset that they're getting away with all of this, and then they're throwing it in the face of everybody else by buying all the best players, and then they throw in everybody's face, anybody can do this.
No.
And not everybody could do it, and I think a lot of owners are getting fed up with this entire problem. Now, a couple of things with this before we get Frank's opinion on it, but the frustration for the owners is not just Kyle Tucker. Like MLB owners have described, they've been described as raging after the Dodgers signed Kyle Tucker to a 4-year, $240 million deal. One source says it is now a 100% certainty owners will push for a salary cap in the next CBA. No surprise to anybody. The frustration isn't just Tucker. It's the pattern. The Dodgers, highest payroll, two-time defending champ, still adding stars, while the Mets, immediately following with Bo Bichette, 3 years, 126, are, trying to add to their deal as well. But the thing that I think is frustrating is, for a lot of owners, it's not like the other teams didn't offer the same as what Kyle Tucker ended up signing with the Dodgers. The Mets offered basically the exact same contract, and Tucker still decided to go with the Dodgers because it's a place to win. Tucker crystallized the fear that a few teams can permanently separate from the pack, which is exactly what the Dodgers have done. You look at the markets for some of these stars, there's only a couple of teams that can afford these stars. Commissioner Rob Manfred publicly praised the Dodgers' elite revenue generation, smart baseball decisions, everything done completely within the rules. Manfred even acknowledged the value of a large market villain driving interest, but the fans like us in smaller mid-sized markets increasingly feel the system is structurally unfair. I believe that as well. That perception, not just competitive imbalance, is what owners are reacting to. If you're the Padres, you got to play in the same division as these guys. It's a pain in the ass. But if you're anybody else in baseball, now here's the deal. Our market's different because the Padres are our number one team. We treat the Padres on sports talk radio, on coverage in the paper, the way that people walk around. There's no other market like ours in reality that treats their baseball team like an NFL team. We do. That's our number one team. So it's frustrating for us in a sense, but at the same time, at least the Padres spend money to a sense that they could be in a competitive spot against other teams in the National League. People are interested. But you start going to other smaller markets that have multiple teams, like Pittsburgh, for example. Why would anybody in Pittsburgh spend money to go watch the Pirates play? Why would any of them care about watching the Pirates play? And if they don't care about watching the Pirates play, do you think they're going to walk in and just go watch the Dodgers play because it's a fun team to watch? You're losing baseball fans in the middle of the country. You're losing baseball fans in markets that have other sports teams. You're losing interest in the general public, whereas the NFL and the NHL and the NBA are continuing to find ways to grow their games. Major League Baseball settling in and just being like, oh, we love the Dodgers, are starting to lose fans. And ownership groups around the country understand it's going to start hurting their bottom line. And when it starts hurting the ownership's bottom line, and I don't think it's here, I think it's in other markets, you have a massive problem. And right now, there's enough of those ownership groups, the ones that get paid a lot, like the Mets. Cohen's upset. He can't sign anybody because the Dodgers just come in and offer the same amount that he does. He's upset. This is the only time that you have seen owners across the board, large markets, small markets, medium markets, they are all right now in agreement of this affecting the bottom line of Major League Baseball, which tells me a salary cap is coming. We're going to talk about this in just a little bit. We're going to continue the conversation. We're going to hear from Frank on this particular deal later on in the hour. Busser Only had a lot of important things to say on this that we want to pick up and spread along as well. But we're the Braden Surprenant Show. We're just off and running on a Wednesday. San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. Got a couple new banners here in the station to show off those new, the new studio sponsorship. Big thanks to Bill Howe for being a part of our team. Big thanks to them, of course. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show live and locally each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We were talking about the owner's rage at the Kyle Tucker signing. While we went to break, or near the end of our last segment, the Yankees have finally signed Cody Bellinger. Bellinger's deal with the Yankees is for 5 years and $162.5 million. There are opt-outs after the second and third season and a $20 million signing bonus and a full no-trade clause, according to Jeff Passan. So the Yankees have gotten Cody Bellinger back. Now, we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. Let's get back to this conversation with owners being upset with the Kyle Tucker deal. I understand why they're upset. They understand the bottom line. They see the forest and not just the tree in front of them. And what people fail to understand, because a lot of people just assume that owners are made of money that never goes away. A lot of it's not even liquid assets, but you can only spend what your revenue is. And what the Dodgers are doing, they're spending the amount of money that is more than most teams' revenue. And to ask any business to spend all of their revenue just on player salaries and just eat money is not possible. And it's not what businesses do. And the reason why owners have the money to buy teams is because they don't make bad financial decisions. That would be a bad financial decision. Again, everybody just assumes that the other teams have greedy owners that are hanging on to money. But if the Dodgers are spending more money, Frank, than what the Reds owner is worth, is he being a greedy owner? Or does he have a right to be upset? Like, we can't compete with this because we don't have the money for it.
No, that's exactly right. And for those of you who want to take a deeper look at the article that we're referencing, it was on The Athletic. Evan Drellich wrote this article, a great article that we're opening the show up with today. But I want to make something clear also. You had mentioned it kind of in passing, but it's important to note, I think, that the owners aren't doing this for the betterment of baseball. They're not doing it for you, the fans. They're doing it because they are losing money. They are this upset not because they can't win a World Series. It's because there are no star players to go around because they're all going to one place, and they can't make money or as much money anymore as they used to be able to. So that is what is driving this. Baseball itself, while going down, is doing okay, but the owners making less money is what is driving this. The fact that the Dodgers are doing this, again, as we've said over the last couple of weeks, light shined on them. That's all you could say. Is the light, there's a spot for one person under that light, and it just so happened to land on the Dodgers. Good for them. The fact that they are the ones that are doing this is not an MLB design. They were not picked by Major League Baseball to lead this. It just happened to be them and their ownership group, their general manager. They are taking advantage of every single loophole that has been put in front of them. And granted, every team can do that. If you see a loophole in a rule, everyone can take advantage of that. But to do it with the monetary backing, and also another thing about the Kyle Tucker signing, the Dodgers deferred, what was it, $30 million of that?
I think so.
The Mets and Blue Jays offered no deferred money. So the Mets and Blue Jays were ready to pay 100% up front, and he took the deferred payments. That also to me is insane.
And a smaller signing bonus.
Yeah, and a smaller signing bonus, which to me, when these guys are after the bag, to take less money up front, to me just makes absolutely no sense. But the fact that the Dodgers are taking advantage of every single loophole that's put in front of them, not breaking the rules. And yes, any team can do that. However, doing it with the monetary force that they are able to put into it is what everyone else now is yelling about. And that is something that every team can't do.
No, they can't do that. They can't do a lot of these things. Like somebody's like, one franchise spends 30% of the revenue back to the team. The Dodgers spend 70. Yeah, but there's a lot of teams that spend 60 to 70% like the Dodgers do, and it's nowhere near the Dodgers level of money.
Yeah, 60% of $1 billion is a lot different than 70% of $250 million. That's what you're talking about here. It's the same percentage, you're right, but it's coming out of a bigger pie than what other teams are pulling it out of.
Yeah, even some of these teams, if they were to spend 70% of their payroll, and everybody spent the same percentage of the payroll, the Dodgers would still outclass everybody in terms of the money. The Padres spend 64% of their revenue on their payroll. I think anything more than half of your revenue on your payroll is fair.
You're trying.
Yeah, it's not like they're not trying. Like, everybody always wants to look back to the Marlins and like the Pirates, right? But here's the other thing. Some of the revenue sharing, like, it's not as much money as you think it is. We just went over what the Dodgers are putting into revenue sharing. They have used the loopholes to not contribute a ton of money to that. And organizations find ways to get out of contributing money, like improving their ballpark. Again, the other thing, too, is the Dodgers are not taxed on their TV contract. They're taxed 30% on the TV contract that they were expected to sign.
Yeah, they're projected.
They were projected to sign, and that's until 2038. $87 million is a whole hell of a lot different than $322 million or whatever it is on the $8 billion contract that they have put together. So, again, as much as people are like, oh, they could do it. No. Nobody could do it. But the reality of the situation is, here's where you're running into other issues, too. It's one thing to say that these teams they're not spending money. But when teams are offering the same amount of money as the Dodgers and the players are still signing with L.A., because L.A. can always be in the market for every star player and not every other team can do that, it's no longer a competitive field. I've brought this up multiple times with the situation of the Padres. When they had the budget that they had, could buy stars. And they bought stars, right? But what the Padres can't do is they can't buy a star every single year. They don't have the funds to just have a team full of stars. And so what happens is you get to free agency, you are the star. And I talked about this is why the salary cap works in terms of leveling the playing field. If Kyle Tucker is the, quote, star of this year's free agent class, and he gets the free agency, and the only teams that can afford him because they haven't spent the money elsewhere are the Dodgers, the Mets, and let's just say some of the teams at the bottom, like the Blue Jays, or like not the Blue Jays, but like the Marlins and the Pirates,
Royals, White Sox,
and they all offer the same contract. Where do you think the guy's going to sign? Where's he going to sign? If the money's all equal, where is he signing? With the Dodgers. Okay, so Kyle Tucker signs with the Dodgers. Then you go to the next year. Dodgers still have a star in every single spot. And the star at the top of the list is getting offers from other organizations, right, that might have the ability to sign another star. But now this time it's not like the Mets and the Dodgers and the Marlins. It's just the Marlins, the Pirates, and the Dodgers. And they all offer the same, or maybe they offer a little bit more in Miami. Where do you think the star is going to go? I can go to Miami and be the only person in this organization that wins. Or for like $5 million less, I could go sign with LA and be on a loaded team. That's the conversation. As much as everybody wants to blame the Pirates and the Marlins for not trying, and they are not, the reality of the situation is there's not a lot of teams in this level of the game, in this format of professional sports, that can buy a star player every single year. And the reason why the New York Giants don't do it, and the reason why all these big market, the reason why the Dallas Cowboys don't have every star on their team is because they have a salary cap. For everybody that is dumb enough to think that a balance of power and parity is based on who wins, how many times you have a repeat champion, the reality is this. The parity in the NFL is for any size market team, regardless of where they're at, what the population is, how big their fan base is. Everybody's got a chance, and everybody's playing by the same rules. Well, Kansas City's won the last couple of Super Bowls in the yeah, but you know what? Kansas City is a small market. Kansas City would never be able to do that in the grand scheme of things. It'd be the Dallas Cowboys every year, and the San Francisco 49ers every year, and the New York Giants every year. But the fact that you had to be smart with your money, there's going to be organizations that do it well. There's going to be organizations that don't do it well. That's the point of the conversation. That's why the owners in the MLB have fed up with what's been happening in Major League Baseball, because the Rays can do everything right and use their resources to their highest advantage and still not have any chance to compete with a large market team. 833-288-973, 833-288-973. What did Buster Olney say on the subject? He joined Gwynn and Chris yesterday. We'll play some of the clips that he had yesterday on Gwynn and Chris when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, Standing As Number Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. It's not over yet. Calm down, Blink-182. A little bit early for that one, usually. All right, we got a lot to get to today on the Braden Surprenant Show. We're going to talk college basketball later on. We're going to get to our full baseball hour in the next hour, even though we've talked a lot of baseball so far on the show. I mean, we can keep this conversation going for a long time. We haven't got to, like, some of the big questions. And one of them, to me, I think we got to answer this question, too, coming up in the next hour. But there's a couple of things that I find interesting. You know, are the Dodgers breaking baseball, or are they just exposing a broken system? If a salary cap is coming, who does it really help? And the one that I think is the most important, we have talked about a salary cap now on this show for the last calendar year, I would say, because that is what exactly is coming. Like that's what we think the big conversation is going to be. It sounds like that's going to be the big conversation next CBA. The big CBA obviously affects our daily lives as the flagship of the San Diego Padres and as the, Padres fans out there. That's a big conversation of what happens in 2027 at the conclusion of 2026. It also impacts a lot of what's going on in the sport. But here's the question we haven't really talked about yet and discussed, and I think we should in the 11 o'clock hour, Frank. How does the salary cap affect the Padres? Would a salary cap kill the Padres' competitive window, or will it save it? That's an interesting topic of discussion I think we need to talk about in the next hour, because I think everybody's viewing it on a perspective of the salary cap in a sense of it's going to stop the Dodgers, let's take down the Dodgers, instead of like, all right, well, how is this going to look? Are the Padres going to be able to spend money? I mean, what if they set the cap to a point where the Padres with a grandfathered in group can't do X, Y, Z? Like, what's the taxes are going to be? I think a lot of people just assume it's going to be great, but we haven't had that discussion yet of who it benefits, what teams it benefits, as well as how does it affect the Padres. We'll talk about that in the 11 o'clock hour. But let's get to what Buster Olney has said on Gwynn and Chris. He had 4 things that he talked about. We'll get the final one was kind of an ask just because of the Forbes article that talked about, the Padres could potentially move. I'm not buying it at all. I don't care what kind of research was put into that. It seemed like an odd article to me, and I don't want to put a lot of time into it. From Bloom, I'm not. It seems erroneous. But anyway, Buster Olney was asked about that by Gwynn and Chris. We'll get to that at the very end. But he had some interesting things to say about the Dodgers spending money for Kyle Tucker, the business of baseball, and how teams should compete with the Dodgers. Let's start with the one on how the Dodgers have been able to outbid everybody in baseball and his view of what he is seeing on this outbidding of Major League Baseball.
Well, exactly. And it was a total lightning strike. The Mets, I think, clearly thought they were going to get the player because Steve Cohen, who's active on social media, sent out a tweet early that day saying, we're waiting for the white smoke to appear.
Yes, he did.
He's not sending that out unless he thinks he's going to get the player.
Yeah.
Right. And so all of a sudden, whoop. And that's what I've talked to people. The Mets really weren't aware that the Dodgers were going to be involved. They thought that they had the winning bid. The Dodgers come in. Does Kyle Tucker make them a better team? Yeah, he does. He's another great player. I've always thought too that, the one thing we got to remember about baseball, it's not this seamless business run, from the top down. It is a loose confederacy of 30 separate businesses.
Yeah.
All of these teams act in self-interest, which is why I think anybody who, is clamoring for a level playing field, forget it. That horse went out the barn in 1901 with the way the structure is set up in baseball. The hope is, I think, if you're a fan of the Pirates, you're a fan of a small market team, that they could level playing field a little bit, because the Dodgers stuff is it's crazy.
It is crazy. And as Buster Olney has said, that is a situation in which every team is operating his own entity. Is there a single team that is backing the Dodgers right now? No. Is the Dodgers spending the money that they are spending, does that benefit any team in baseball, Frank?
No.
No, it does not.
Benefits the Dodgers.
It just benefits the Dodgers. And so what are teams going to do? They're going to do whatever it takes to try to hamper the Dodgers chokehold that they have on the rule book and the Dodgers chokehold they have on Major League Baseball. Because right now it is a unlevel playing field of what they're able to do with the loopholes that other teams aren't able to do. You can't just sign players to deferred contracts. Want to know why, Frank? Because the player has to agree to that. The Dodgers got Ohtani to do that because he was already making the money anyway in endorsements. He doesn't care. He wants the team to be good. How does he make this team good? By taking deferred money. How do all those other players make the team good? Taking deferred money. Are you going to get any player to take deferred money for the Pirates?
No.
Absolutely not. Are you going to get anybody to take deferred money, really, for the Padres or anybody else in baseball? Hardly ever. If you look at the deferred payments that have been handed out by other organizations, it's a very small amount, because it's not easy to convince a player to do that.
It's deferred payments over a very, 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 very long time.
And inflation slowly starts to erode the value of that money. That's why if you ever win the lottery, it's better to get as a lump sum than $1,000 a month or whatever it is, because you're just going to lose the value as it goes on.
And you get made fun of for it every year on June 1st.
That's right. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day to all that celebrate. Anyway.
I wanted to, before we move on to the next clip, though, it was very interesting because both you and I had the same exact thought when the Mets when the Mets offer got leaked. Mets are out of it. But Buster Olney here saw that as, well, they're in the lead. They got it. So that's just very interesting how you read a situation two completely different ways. I personally would have been more surprised. I would have been more surprised if the Mets got him than the Dodgers. I thought he was going to Toronto. I thought it was Toronto, LA, New York, with how everything played out.
Again, people don't understand that that's not how the world works. It's not socialism. People need to stop with the socialism stuff. It's really just one person. It's not socialism. So just enough. Because procrastinating Puma, which, by the way, that is a hilarious account name. What got you to make your YouTube account a Puma and then make him a procrastinating Puma and then put a Padres hat on it? That's hilarious. I just wanted to point that out. That's hilarious. Round of applause to procrastinating Puma. But to answer procrastinating Puma and KG the elephant, the names are on here, amazing. Kind of explains it already. But the problem is you need two to tango. It's not beneficial to the player to take deferred money. They will only do it to get the benefit of being on a good team. So good teams could theoretically do it, but that's not a guarantee that you're going to convince those players to do it. Do you think Juan Soto's taking deferred money?
No.
No, he's not. So, like, the Mets could have offered Juan Soto the same contract. He's saying no. Right? He's saying no. Why is he saying no? Because he wants all the money now. You have to get the right person. Like, Ohtani is the perfect person for it because he can be virtuous and say no while he's counting all of the money from the endorsements from Japan. It's not like he needs the money. It's not like he wants the money. But not everybody can do that. Okay? That's why not everybody can do it. The Dodgers got the perfect player to do it. And then other players join him because they want to be on a good team. It's like when the Patriots signed Tom Brady. Like, Tom Brady kept taking cuts to make his team good, and players would take pay cuts to go play on a good team, to go win a championship. Not everybody can get that done. Not everybody can do that. There's a couple other clips that I want to get to that they're a little bit longer, running out of time. But again, what people don't understand is this is a business that is generated on competitiveness. It's not like it's not socialism or capitalism or just it's just stop it. That's not part of the deal. It's not what people are asking for.
No.
It's a competitive league. It's everybody playing by the same rules. That's what the league is about. They're all making the money. They're all making money. And it's all part of a capitalist society. It's not socialism with like, oh, they have trying to make the playing field even. It's just like having rules. It's the same rules that you would have in the game, except the game involves building your roster. That's what it is. But you throw money out there and people like want to get their, political agendas of socialism versus capitalism. Just stop it. Just stop it. They're all for profit. That's what it is. They're all for profit.
And he mentioned the NFL in that chat, in that message. You realize the NFL is not the only league in North America that has a salary cap, right?
Mm-hmm.
NBA has a salary cap. The NHL has a salary cap.
Everybody's got one.
The MLS has a salary cap. Every league has a salary cap. So this would be aligning baseball with everyone else.
Correct. And all those leagues, everybody's making as much money as they possibly can. But you just can't stack the players. Here's the reason why the players don't want a salary cap, because they want their cake and they want to eat it too. They want to be paid like a star and be surrounded by stars, which you can't do in any other league. The NBA, LeBron James tries to do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But they have rules in place, so you can't have a loaded roster that's better than everybody else because of money. That's literally what it is. That's all they're trying to do. You want to be good? Here are the rules in order to build your roster. It's the same rules in order to score runs, the same rules in order to score points. This is how you do it. It's just in a business side, so people just assume that's like, let's get the politics out of here. They all get equal opportunity, but that doesn't mean they all get the same regardless of effort. They still have to do it on their own.
Yeah. And it's the same people that always, why are politics in sports, that bring it in, that bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's, why are we making everything about politics? Well, you're the one that's making it about politics. We didn't mention anything about that until it was brought up.
Again, they are making the rules to build the team. It's not like they all have to share the money. They share the money now in Major League Baseball. That's not what I'm saying. Get rid of all the shared money. Make one centralized TV deal. That's fine, but it shouldn't be like, well, the Dodgers signed this contract, so now they got to give money. It's actually probably more what that guy was saying now than it is what we're wanting it to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, like when you look at the roster construction for all these leagues, you just don't want all the stars on the same team. Stars get paid the most, and so what happens is if there's a salary cap, it's not going to prevent the best players from getting paid a lot of money. All it's going to do is prevent the best players from being surrounded by other good players. And it makes them have to go to a market that they might not necessarily want to go to. What gets people to go play for the Pittsburgh Pirates? It's money. But if they get outbid by everybody, then nobody's going to go there to play. couple more clips from Busser Olney when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number sports station, 97 to the Fan.
Go ball! Go ball! Oh, off the wall! Hit the weight room!
Hughes bat, it has a new bat.
Oh, he's got
and
one.
nobody's gone deep in it with it yet. But he's about to film me do it.
He got on top of it.
Go,
Go, go, go, go, go!
Oh, ain't nobody else wearing a water t-shirt. Expand.
Ah. Down!
Oh, yeah. I got it.
Easy. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
I'm sorry?
You hanging out with his sister too much that he gets hurt?
Okay,
he goes to get placed in the
now
IL?
now that the mics come on, you want to say that
I'm just
story?
saying,
It's
dude.
crazy.
Hey, man. He goes to the IL. All of a sudden, you would hang out with his sister. He goes to the IL.
I guess I have a noodle. A large,
Hey, good job,
soft,
Sam.
wet.
God. Sorry, batting last.
Coming.
Down! Wow.
That was a hose.
Stay down. Good. Please catch it. Nice.
Drink Mountain Valley, baby.
I don't know. He is wearing a Panthers
Oh,
hat.
that's a good one.
What a team guy. I like
You know
Matt.
what? Cam Newton.
Selfish. I like Jalen Hurts more. I like Cam Newton. I'll go Jalen
Something
Hurts.
about Flacco, though.
That's why you're batting last.
Something about Flacco, I trust. This gets me going.
Look at that
Oh, look at the
PFP.
PFPs by one.
It's like it's everything that I
Oh,
want.
good oppo shot.
Nicky,
Hey, Nicky! That away, Nicky! Come on, Ethan! Go, Ethan! Why are you stopping?
Braden running.
This is why we can't win a ball game. We have no awareness on the pass. Like it's just.
Why did he stop?
I expect better from
Everyone
you.
else remember when he's 20 minutes? I didn't want to pass him.
What a team guy. Joel's such a team guy compared
reminds
to
me of Cam
Matt,
Newton
who's
refusing
not
to jump on
not a
that
team
fourth
guy.
Go ball! Go ball!
Oh, off the wall! Hit the weight room!
Hughes bat, it has a new bat.
Oh, he's got
and
one.
nobody's gone deep in it with it yet. But he's about to film me do it.
He got on top of it.
Go,
Go, go, go, go, go!
Oh, ain't nobody else wearing a water t-shirt. Expand.
Ah. Down!
Oh, yeah. I got it.
Easy. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
I'm sorry?
You hanging out with his sister too much that he gets hurt?
Okay,
he goes to get placed in
now
the
that
IL?
now that the mics come on, you want to say that
I'm just
story?
saying,
It's
dude.
crazy.
Hey, man. He goes to the IL. All of a sudden, you would hang out with his sister. He goes to the IL.
I guess I have a noodle. A large,
Hey, good job,
soft,
Sam.
wet.
God. Sorry, batting last.
Coming.
Down! Wow.
That was a hose.
Stay down. Good. Please catch it. Nice.
Drink Mountain Valley, baby.
I don't know. He is wearing a Panthers
Oh,
hat.
that's a good one.
What a team guy. I like
You know
Matt.
what? Cam Newton.
Selfish. I like Jalen Hurts more. I like Cam Newton. I'll go Jalen
Something
Hurts.
about Flacco, though.
That's why you're batting last.
Something about Flacco, I trust. This gets me going.
Look at that
Oh, look
PFP.
at the PFPs by one.
It's like it's everything that I
Oh,
want.
good oppo shot.
Nicky,
Hey, Nicky! That away, Nicky! Come on, Ethan! Go, Ethan! Why are you stopping?
Braden running.
This is why we can't win a ball game. We have no awareness on the pass. Like it's just.
Why did he stop?
I expect better from
Everyone
you.
else remember when he's 20 minutes? I didn't want to pass him.
What a team guy. Joel's such a team guy compared
reminds
to
me of Cam
Matt,
Newton
who's
refusing
not
to
a
jump on
not
that
a team
fourth
guy.
Go ball! Go ball!
Oh, off the wall! Hit the weight room!
Hughes bat, it has a new bat.
Oh, he's got
And
one.
nobody's gone deep in it with it yet. But he's about to film me do it.
He got on top of it.
Go,
Go! 11 o'clock. All guests on 97.3. Join us on the David P. Shapiro fan hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with the crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. We'll be talking about announcing our biggest fan at 1 o'clock. Are we doing the same guy again? Or
Relax yourself. Got 2 hours. Calm down.
Got him.
A little chippy this morning. Goodness.
Johnny goes, why didn't you include the video of me snapping you off every time you hit it to me? Because that video doesn't exist because you've never done it, Johnny. Johnny hit a line drive at me on Monday, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing third base. Hot shot right at me, just above my head. I go up to go get the line drive very quickly. As I'm going up, my glove starts flying off my thumb.
Uh-oh.
Snaps the glove off my hand. Terrible. You know what? Got to give Johnny some. I got to let him get some hits every once in a while because he's usually walking up there.
Yeah, that's why.
Guy walks and slow pitch. Who walks on league night?
That's why hockey.
Johnny does.
That's why in hockey they tie the gloves to them. They tie the gloves.
Well, you know what? I looked on my glove. I got one of the strings is ripped.
Oh.
So I need to.
Gotta get it relaced.
I need to relace it on my 44 glove. Anybody listen to the show? Work at 44. I have a 44 glove and it needs to be relaced now because it got snapped.
I have a place I watch because I am the way that I am. I follow a couple of like glove cleaning channels on Instagram.
Oh yeah, those are great.
And put those videos on. I could probably send you some and see if see where you can send it to.
Yeah.
To get it like actually.
I need to do it. I need to do that. I love 44 gloves. I have my one custom make. It's pretty awesome. I don't want to make a new one yet, but I do need to fix this one. Crumb buys a ton of gloves, dude. He buys like 3 a year. He's constantly working in new gloves.
I couldn't. I hate working in one glove ever, let alone 3 in a year.
Johnny. Yeah, because my hot shot ripped it. Nah, it was broken before. But you know what? Hang the banner. You can hang the banner. It's fine. 44 Pro. My bad, dog. Bobby. All right, let's talk more about what Buster Olney said on Gwynn and Chris. So we talked about the Dodgers outbidding everybody and how crazy it is. Here's what they asked him about, like the business of baseball and whether or not it's broken. Here's what Buster Olney said about that particular question.
Well, I mean, there's no other way to describe the Tucker signing by the Dodgers is pure gluttony. Okay, I mean, think about it. Kyle Tucker becomes the highest paid player at an average annual salary in the history of baseball, $57.1 million. Once you factor in the deferred money, Anthony, I agree with you. It's like a great deal for him. You know, he started the new year thinking that he was going to wind up with the Blue Jays. You know, they were offering 10 years and $350 million. And then the Dodgers come in at the last moment because Kyle Tucker at his best is a great player, and they offer him the richest, salary ever. And you think about the projected lineup, the richest salary ever, that guy might hit fifth in that lineup. And that's why it feels, so gluttonous. And yeah, it absolutely spurs conversation is where, a year away from or later this year, we'll have the labor strife. The owners are probably going to lock out. Then we'll see the players' response. I'm not as pessimistic as a lot of people in my industry are, because there are two major questions I think remain to be unanswered. If the owners push for a salary cap, will they actually have enough owners together to force through some kind of a salary cap and potentially lose games? That's what happened in 94, 95. Effectively, the question was on the owner side. And on the player side, it was pretty well demonstrated the last round of negotiations. Players want to play. And I think I've had players privately say to me, look, if a salary cap means more money for more players, why am I looking out for the Juan Sotos of the world? And am I going to shut down the full seasons? It's always reported that, the players are against the salary cap. And I feel like we got to amend that to players' leadership is saying it's against the salary cap. I'm really curious once we get into the weeds of things and we get closer to, potentially losing games, whether or not the rank and file actually would go along with that.
I honestly think, and I said this at the beginning part of the show, he's Frank Marchese on Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. We're broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. That was Buster Olney from ESPN on with Gwynn and Chris yesterday. Okay. As we have talked about the salary cap and the players are going to dig their heels in, and if the owners want a salary cap, it's a non-starter, and this is going to take forever and all this stuff. I'm honestly encouraged by what Buster Olney had to say, because the owners, I think, are aligned on this. I think the owners are aligned on this. I think enough owners are aligned on, we got to get this thing done. And I think that was the case last year when we were talking about this, right? I don't think the owners are part of the problem. This is the first time the owners have all been on the same page for something, to be honest with you, aside from like the Dodgers owner, right? Like the Dodgers ownership group's going to be like, yeah, we're not really interested in this.
If you can get a majority of owners on the same side of anything, someone has really annoyed someone else.
Correct. Think about that. I mean, that's just like the general public. Try to get the general public. You can't even get the general public to agree that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. So that's a guarantee every single day. Now, that's one part of the problem for the ownership group. They're all aligned. But here's the other thing, too, that throws me in. The players are not as aligned on this. And as Buster Olney pointed out, he said, like, a lot of the players want to play. And here's the deal. The Juan Sotos of the world. I'm going to use his name because he's one of those big contracts. The Juan Sotos is Shohei Ohtani. He's like, think about all the star players. First of all of them already got their contracts. They're done. Okay? They're not getting another one. They're basically done. But the players that don't want the salary cap are the top 1% of players in Major League Baseball. Those are the ones that don't want the salary cap. And why don't they want the salary cap? Well, because they want to be able to get paid $70 million, $80 million, what I am worth, as they say. But then they also want to be able to handpick where they play. And they want to play on the best team. They want to get set. They want everything set up for them. In the NFL, you can't do that. If you want to get paid highly, you might have to go to a place you don't want to pay or you don't want to play. So maybe you take a pay cut to go play on a good team and a good org, or maybe you take more money and go play in a lousy organization. Those are the risk reward that you take. In baseball, they want the players want everything their way. At least this is what I'm getting out of this. But it's the top 1%. You start looking around the rest of Major League Baseball. One, not only are they not going to be affected by this because they're already moving all over the place to play and trying to make a living. But number two, who can afford a lockout and not play a season? Juan Soto or Miguel Andujar, Frank? Who can afford to do it? Look even further. Mm-hmm. Juan Soto or one of the people, or Christian Camarena. Or sorry, Daniel Camarena. Christian's his brother. Who can afford a lockout more? The guy making league minimum $700,000 a year, or the dude that's already been making top money for the last handful of years that has generational wealth? If you're one of those top 1% players, you can dig your heels in. Because most of those guys have made enough money that they can live the rest of their lives in comfort and not have to do anything. And not only can they do that, their family can do that. They have generational wealth. But as Buster Olney has pointed out, not every player in baseball's got that kind of money. They can't afford to sit there all the time. And so now you have this divide in the players' union that's going to be a problem. Because you know who the salary cap does not affect at all? Probably the large percentage of players that play in Major League Baseball. The ones it does affect, the top 1% which most of them, Frank, have already signed a lifetime contract.
Yeah, and that's the argument that those players are going to use down the line is, oh, well, you guys want a big contract like this. You're good enough to get this kind of money. You're just on your rookie deal. They don't want to give it to you. So wait it out. Stand with us, and you could make the same amount of money that we're making now. That's the argument that the top 1% is going to trickle down to the rest of it. Meanwhile, Major League Baseball is saying they don't care about you. They've got yours. They've got theirs already. And if we're being brutally honest here, every team is already paying within the limits that we are providing. Let's just say it's $300 million and 150, just for two numbers. A vast majority of teams are already paying within this. So in reality, no, your money isn't going to change. They don't care. They want to get paid for nothing. They want to get paid to sit at home and do nothing. You guys have to make the decision as to whether or not you want to get paid or if you want to play. And from what it sounds like from Buster Olney, they want to play.
Let me ask you this question, too. We've made the comparisons with the NFL a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have a good salary cap. It's not the best because none of their money's not guaranteed. Now, that's great for the fans. I think the NFL is designed for it's got the best for viewership and people to be interested in the sport.
Yes.
Because at least with the non-guaranteed contracts, players are constantly playing to earn their money.
Which is disgusting for such a physical, violent sport.
Yes,
but
they got the players got the worst cut of the deal. But again, when you make these decisions, you could go do something else. You don't have to be a football player. You could go do something else. Go work in finance. You can make a ton of money doing that. But anyway, let me ask you this question, Frank. I just pulled it up. But what's the top position in the NFL?
Quarterback.
Are the top quarterbacks in the NFL not getting paid because of the salary cap?
Some of them are, some of them aren't.
Dak Prescott makes $60 million on his AAV. Mm-hmm. They don't have AAV in the NFL, but that's his AAV, right? In the comparison to baseball. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen makes $55 million.
Oh, they're getting
Joe
paid.
Burrow gets $55 million. Trevor Lawrence gets $55 million. Jordan Love, $55 million. Justin Herbert, $52.5 million. Lamar Jackson, $52 million.
Right, but they also trade that off for, as we've seen and discussed, they also trade that off for the success of the team. The ones that are getting paid because they're on their rookie deal or because they understand the salary cap and how that stuff works and aren't just after the bag to play football.
And that's not even including, by the way, endorsements and stuff. Like if you include endorsements, Patrick Mahomes is making $80 million a year. So let me ask you this question again, Frank. Are any of the top players in the NFL not getting paid fairly? No, they are.
It just comes at the expense of the rest of the roster.
Right. But it comes at the expense of like Dak Prescott. You want an extra $10 million or do you want somebody protecting you?
Exactly. Yes.
Right. So like that's kind of the deal. He's still making $60 million a year. And so what falls on deaf ears from me on some of the players' arguments are the whole, well, we're not going to be able to get paid. We're not going to get paid what's fair.
No, you will.
You're getting paid definitely what's fair. $60 million for Dak Prescott. Like, the NFL has a very non-player friendly salary cap, non-player friendly contracts. Yet all the top players in the NFL are getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting paid what they're worth. So the argument that the players in baseball aren't going to get the money anymore, like they want to make it sound like if they don't have, if there's a salary cap, the next Juan Soto is only going to make $20 million. It's not the facts.
No, there are teams, stupid teams, will pay $30 to $35 million a year for a player under a salary cap. Then you're going to wonder why. Why is our rotation so bad? Well, maybe it's because you got someone in right field taking up a third of your salary cap.
But that's the thing. The player, it's not about the money. The players know, the top players know that the top players are going to get paid. Because remember, who's calling all the shots? It's the top 1% of earners in Major League Baseball. Those are the ones that are calling all the shots. It's the Bryce Harpers, right? It's the ones that got these gigantic contracts. Those are the ones that are calling this. As are their agents, because their agents need to make they got a lot of skin in the game too, right?
The Borises, the Washingtons.
Those are the entities that are screaming foul on the salary cap because they have this witch hunt of we're not going to get paid fairly. And they make it sound like they're a bunch of coal miners making $250 an hour, which is not even close to being the case. They're still multimillionaires with generational wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the thing that they are actually fighting for that doesn't win in the court of public opinion, and that is they want to be on a team that's really good, and they don't want to sacrifice their own paycheck in order for that to happen. Why do they not want to say it like that, Frank? Because that would be selfish and nobody would believe them. They'd be like, I'm sorry, you don't want to sacrifice an extra $5 or $10 million when you're making $50 to $60 million for the betterment of your team? What does that say? That's not a winning argument in the court of public opinion. The winning argument is they're not paying us fairly.
Juan Ruiz in the chat just posted that. Let me get the action. Let me get the word for word.
Oh, like they're making more.
It drives me insane that baseball players are making more than soccer players who are international superstars. It's mind-boggling. One thing that a lot of people don't understand, or if you don't watch international soccer, there are perennial winners and there are perennial losers. And especially in leagues where there's promotion and relegation, Luton Town, just for an example, made the Premier League a couple of years ago for the first time in club history. They're back in League One now, which is the third tier of English football. Why? Because they did not have the money to be able to sustain success. Why? Because there's no salary cap in European soccer. The teams that are bought by the richest people that want to spend the most money are the teams that have the most success. That is why teams like Manchester City, who are perennial losers, after they got bought by I believe it was an oil baron, like a Saudi Arabian oil baron or something, that's how they went on their massive run of success. Manchester City never had a lineage of success until they were bought and their owner put all the money into the team. And they could have done that because there are no salary caps. There's a salary cap in the MLS, but not in European soccer leagues. So you're going to have perennial winners and perennial losers. And the teams like Leicester City, when they win the Premier League like 10 years ago, are so special because they defy all of that to get the win. Where's Leicester City right now? They're in the championship because they couldn't sustain it, even after winning. So this is the position that you're finding yourself in now with Major League Baseball, where you have the richest owners able to put as much money into the team as possible to be able to sustain success. And the teams that don't have those owners are perennial losers, perennially at the bottom, and no way to fix it. Meanwhile, in the NBA, we had the Orlando Magic in the NBA Finals.
The Thunder won it.
The
Thunder won it last year.
Won it.
The Thunder won it last year, and the Kansas City's been able to win. And here's the other thing, because David Vu in the chat talks about the NFL has loopholes too. I'm going to address that when we come back because we got to take a break. We'll also get to your phone calls. I know we got a couple people on hold. We'll get to you as well. We're continuing the conversation. The owners fed up with what's going on in Major League Baseball. Sounds like a salary cap is their number one priority. That's what we're discussing today on the Braden Surprenant Show. Standing as number Sports Station 97 through the Fan. All guests on 97 through the Fan, join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys helping good people regain control of their future when charged with the crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. I just want to continue to reiterate that I'm not pro player and I'm not pro owner. We've had these discussions multiple times on these CBA negotiations. I am pro whatever makes the sport the best. And right now, what is making the sport, in my opinion, better would be a salary cap for Major League Baseball. I also think the Major League Baseball should expand the playoffs to 16 total teams, 8 on each side. There's a lot of things that I would do with Major League Baseball. You know, the commissioner went down a different path with like an in-season tournament when he had his interview on WFAN. We didn't play that clip for you because it was kind of a throwing it out there thing. So there was no reason for it. But the conversation today has been a lot of stemming from the Evan Drellich report last night that Major League Baseball's ownership and all the owners are in agreement that they're pushing a lot for a salary cap. Buster Olney was on with Gwen and Chris yesterday. He had some interesting clips to talk about when it comes to this particular situation that we have played for you. But the reality of the situation is the ones that really want to not have a salary cap are the ones in the top 1% for baseball, the top 1% of players, because outside of those guys, most of the players in baseball would be not affected by the salary cap in terms of money. And as I laid out with the NFL, their top position is quarterback, and the quarterbacks are making the most money. They are not getting gypped on payments. They're not. Highest paid player last year, and just his salary, was Dak Prescott. He's making $60 million. You include endorsements. Patrick Mahomes making $80 million. I don't think you can really include that for Major League Baseball's conversations because that's kind of give or take, depending how marketable you are, what market you're in. But that's the situation of the NFL. They have a salary cap, yet their top players still get paid like they're supposed to get paid. They're still getting paid enormous salaries. The NBA's top players are getting paid enormous salaries. The top NHL players are getting paid relative to what the sport is. Though that's not the concern. The concern is from the top 1% of players is the fact that they want to be able to get paid like a star and be surrounded by stars. Not do what the NFL players have to do in, okay, I could get paid $70 million and have a bad team around me or a lesser team around me, or I could get paid $60 million and have more talent around me. The players don't want to have that type of conversation, is what I'm getting out of all of these arguments against the salary cap, because the reality is there's not a lot of arguments against the salary cap. The biggest argument is the falsehood that the top echelon players are not going to get paid like they're getting paid now. That's not true. They can get paid what they're getting paid now. They're just consequences for those actions, and that is the rest of your team's not going to be very good. David Vu brought up in the chat the loopholes that the NFL has, and I agree with those loopholes, but those loopholes that the NFL has are loopholes that everybody can use, not just the teams that make the most money. They talk about the signing bonuses don't count towards the salary cap, this, that, and the other. But the other thing the NFL has is they have a lot of those teams keep the draft picks that they have after the rookie deals. A lot of those teams are able to sign free agents if they need to, all different markets, all different areas of the country. And it's because of the rules that they have in place. In Major League Baseball, there's a lot of teams that can't bring back their stud player that they drafted and developed after the 6 years is up because they can't afford to do it, because they don't have the money to do it. Somebody else in the chat talked about the centralized TV contract. I think Major League Baseball wants to try to include that in the CBA as well. I think that would do a lot of things to help Major League Baseball also. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Kevin in Chula Vista. Kevin, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, man?
Great topic of discussion, gentlemen, and you're pretty much spot on a lot of the things you're talking about in conclusions. So I have a question, and before I answer or ask that, doesn't the NFL submit to each team several hundred millions of dollars every season before the season starts. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, that is representing a lot, if not all, of the either previous or anticipated television revenue. Don't they do that in the NFL?
Yeah, they have a centralized TV deal, so they all get their TV deals are not different. And as mentioned in the chat, I don't know if you missed it, but I said Major League Baseball wants to get to that point. That's going to be a little bit tougher of a discussion, obviously, with a lot of teams like the Dodgers and the Yankees that get a lot more money in TV revenue than others. But the NFL's got all their contracts are with every team. You don't have the regional teams, which is also a massive problem in Major League Baseball.
Right, and that's exactly my point, Braden. This is not so much a cap problem, because I think what's going to happen in a cap, I'm a little bit more dubious in that, because look what they do in the NFL. They hire the attorney capologists, and they figure out all sorts of ways to get around this. What we have here is a massive disparity in revenue amongst the franchises, and until that gets addressed, and I know the Dodgers and the Yankees have their own networks. They're reluctant to share the money. And that's where I think a salary floor comes in, obviously. But until the disparity in revenue is dealt with and solved, we're spinning, I think, our tails and going in circles here, because that's the 800-pound gorilla in the room. Best as I can tell is there's just too much of a disparity. I mean, you can talk about the Pirates or the Padres spending money. Well, let's look at the Padres real quick, because we know about them. They spent money, and now the franchise is up for sale because they're in financial trouble. And so, at the end of the day, these smaller franchises can spend money, but what's sustainable under the current structure of revenue that comes in? When you have the Dodgers that have this mammoth TV thing, Japan, everything else, it's just the gap now is so untenable and so unsustainable for everybody else. That's the problem as I see it. What do you think?
I think it's both. I think it's both the salary cap and the centralized TV contracts. Because the thing is if you centralize the TV contracts instead of the regional contracts, that are slowly starting to fail, and Major League Baseball is starting to buy back a lot of these teams' TV deals. The problem with just fixing that problem is, again, like you mentioned, the Dodgers have all of Japan backing them. Like now it's population size of fan bases, and it's, gates of bigger stadiums, and it's other entities of gear and all that other stuff that, make teams have a lot of money, right? Like the Dallas Cowboys still have a ton of money in their organization because they're the Dallas Cowboys, one of the most recognized logos in the world, right? They have stuff all over the place, but they have to abide by the salary cap. And that's where they can't flex their money and be the best because of their money. So it sounds like for Major League Baseball, the first order of business is they're trying to get the salary cap in with the salary floor. And then after that, it does sound like it's part of the priority to figure out a TV structure that benefits everybody in the league. That's going to be the biggest hurdle, I think, for Major League Baseball, is convincing the top owners to agree on a centralized TV network, because they could get them all to be on the salary cap, but you're not going to get all of them to give up the big moneymaker that is their local TV deals. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Going to continue the conversation as we move on to the next segment, but also there's a lot of stuff going on in sports that we need to get to as part of our sports thread. We'll get that for you when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's number sports station, 97 through the Fan. Remember to listen at 1 o'clock for us to announce today's biggest fan for a chance to qualify for a night in our Odyssey suite at a future Padres game with all the fan staff. Register your name at 97throughthefansd.com/biggest fan in order to potentially have your name called. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show, live and locally each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97 through the fan. We teased some of those topics. I want to answer some of these questions. The three that I wanted to get to were, are the Dodgers breaking baseball or just exposing a broken system? That's number one. And there's one about the Padres here in a second. I don't think the Dodgers are breaking baseball. I think they are showing all the problems that baseball has in terms of their rules for roster construction and for making the league have parity. A league that has never really had parity, Frank, compared to all the other leagues in Major League Baseball. I think the Dodgers are exposing what has been a broken system since they put this in place, and how fake of a parity situation the luxury tax was, because it wasn't actually a cap. Nobody ever really wanted to push that far, but the Dodgers, with some of the rules that have put in place, have really shown a light on this team, on this potential league, having a lot of issues. I think they're exposing a lot of problems that baseball has that they need to fix in this next CBA, and that's where I see this. I don't think the Dodgers are breaking baseball. I think the Dodgers are exposing a lot of major problems that baseball has in the rules when it comes to roster construction.
I think both can be true, because there's an extent that you can expose loopholes and exploit loopholes and still kind of keep the facade of, this is still close. The Dodgers have blown past that. They have completely shot past, well, this is still a competitive sport. So I believe that while, yes, they are definitely exposing a broken system, I think that the extent that they are going to, the extent that they've gone to expose it, has broken the sport.
I think it's, again, I think it's more of the situation that here's the light of everything that's happening behind the curtain. It's the Wizard of Oz scene.
Yeah.
This is what's going on behind the curtain of Major League Baseball. It's that meme with the astronauts in space. Oh, what do you mean it's not fair to the small markets?
Oh.
Never has been. Never has been. Never has been fair to the small markets. This is a system that was designed for top teams in baseball to always benefit, because that's how baseball viewed their sport. Baseball had viewed their sport as, we are a traveling circus with 6 to 8 teams that we want everybody to see. And that's what that's what our sport is. But now you're in a situation where people like parity. People like competitiveness. People like the playing field being leveled. I don't care about the Red Sox coming to town. That's not why I'm going to watch the Padres play. I'm going to watch the Padres play because I like the Padres. That is the miss that Major League Baseball has had for so many years, and it's finally getting exposed by the Los Angeles Dodgers, in a sense that, no, we don't want to just go to our local baseball team to watch the big teams play. That's not why we're here. And honestly, I think the Padres, by spending money and making their team at the same level as a lot of these elite teams that would just harvest players off of the farm system that was the Padres, I think Peter Seidler sticking it to the rest of the teams in Major League Baseball by saying, we're going to spend here and we're going to make our team loaded, and we're not going to let these guys go off and on to other entities. I think that really lit a fire under some of the top teams too, that also fully expose what is happening behind the curtain. It's the smaller market teams not operating like a smaller market. So I think it starts with the Padres and some smaller market teams that are sticking it to the big market teams, going, we're not going to just draft and develop players for you to pick off.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to lock in. We're going to start grabbing some of these great players that cost a lot of money, and we're going to get after it. And that has upset the apple cart and has made things a lot different in Major League Baseball. But I think that's also part of the situation that baseball has. Now, we kind of already answered this question with the salary cap potentially coming. Who does it really help? I think it helps the fans. I think it helps the fans. It doesn't, it probably helps the owners in the grand scheme of things of spending money. But with a salary floor, does that really help the owners? Because now a lot of the owners that aren't making a lot of, that don't want to spend a lot of money have to spend money now. I don't necessarily know. It might help the owners a little bit. I think it gives them a built-in excuse of, I don't have to continually pay for stars once I have a couple of stars. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So from that perspective, I think it helps the owners slightly. I think it helps a lot of the mid-tier players in baseball because they got to start signing these guys because they got to get some of the thresholds up. I think it's going to make players get signed faster. But overall, I think it really helps the fans. I think a salary cap helps the fans the most out of everything that's on there. Now, the last question before we get to the sports thread is, does the salary cap kill the Padres' competitive window or does it save it? I don't think it really does either, but I will say this. To me, it's just, I think it's going to depend on what the actual rules are for the salary cap. If it eliminates the penalties for going over, like if the penalties are no longer like a money standpoint and they're within the threshold and they just got to stay within the threshold, I think from that particular sense, it extends the window for the Padres because I think they're going to be compliant, but also it might give them more room to spend. The reason why the Padres don't want to spend money most of the time is not because they don't want to spend on the taxes because they're not in a position like the Dodgers that can just write it off as expense. The Padres have spent money on their payroll, right? They don't like going over the luxury tax. If the luxury tax was raised, maybe the Padres would spend more money because they don't have to pay money to other entities. So I honestly think it does save the Padres window for competitiveness. I think the salary cap does benefit the Padres, assuming that the salary cap comes in and it's not at $180 million, where the Padres now have to be grandfathered into the system. All right. Let's get to today's sports thread.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk. Brought to you by QC Kinetics. Stop sitting on the sidelines. QC Kinetics gets you back in the game without surgery. To learn how, visit QCkinetics.com.
All righty, let's hop right on into this today here with
Number 1.
The Buffalo Bills have fired head coach Sean McDermott after 9 seasons despite sustained regular season success because the franchise again fell short of reaching the Super Bowl. Buffalo lost in the AFC divisional round for the 4th time in 5 years, extending a run of strong records and playoff appearances without a championship breakthrough. McDermott leaves with a 98-50 regular season record, 5 straight AFC East titles, and a reputation for rebuilding the Bills into a consistent contender, but postseason limitations, especially in road playoff games, ultimately drove the decision. General Manager Braden was promoted to President of Football Operations and will lead the search for a new head coach as the team enters a critical phase with quarterback Josh Allen nearing 30 and a new stadium opening next season. Given the Bills' consistent success but repeated playoff shortcomings, was firing Sean McDermott a necessary risk to maximize Josh Allen's prime, or could stability have offered a better path to the Super Bowl?
I don't think they should have fired Sean McDermott.
No,
I don't know who else you're going to get that's going to be better than what he is. Today, the press conference was hilarious.
Yes, it was.
Here's what I don't understand. Like, they decided to promote the general manager to president of operation, whatever the next title is.
President of football.
President of football ops, right? They decided to do that. And they talked about the Bills being able to be competitive with the depth that they have as a flex for the general manager, why it should be kept. I don't know. Maybe if you had better depth, you would have continued to win. It's like, it's not the flex that they thought it was. Also, Keon Coleman got thrown under the bus this morning. Did you see that?
Yeah, and it's a shame. He seems like such a nice dude. He really does.
Keon Coleman is getting blamed for basically the entire season because the owner had to talk about the fact that Sean McDermott wanted to draft Keon Coleman and he's not good enough, but the general manager didn't. Now there's videos surfacing of the combine. There's videos surfacing of draft day. There's videos surfacing of the front office wanting Keon Coleman. And there's not videos of Sean McDermott wanting Keon Coleman.
Oops.
The Bills. What are you doing? What are you doing? They're cooked. I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter who they hire. They're incompetent. They're not going to win. They've shown it now the last couple of years. And you know what? This press conference exposed Sean McDermott was winning with the Bills despite the Bills front office. We're about to find out. Go ahead. Go sign somebody else to be your head coach. We'll see how it works out for you. But if when you're just flat out lying to everybody in your press conference and you promote the general manager who has failed to give Josh Allen weapons, who has failed to protect Josh Allen, who has failed to put a defense behind the Buffalo Bills, who has failed to add depth to the Buffalo Bills, you promoted that guy and then fired the coach and then blamed him for the first round draft pick or whatever round it was for Keon Coleman. You are destined for failure. You just exposed that the Bills are a poorly run organization. That's what I got out of today's press conference. Congratulations, Bills fans. Y'all are cooked. We will see you guys, I don't know, whenever, I guess. You better hope Josh Allen just continues to carry the team. I can't wait to see who they draft. Buffalo. Amazing.
It's
amazing. It was a high second-round pick, Keon Coleman.
It was so unnecessary, too. Like, it was just so, they did not have to shoot themselves in the foot, and they just went full bore.
Here's the recap. Terry Pagula fired Sean McDermott, did not consult Josh Allen on McDermott firing, said Josh Allen was sobbing in the locker room postgame, promoted Brandon Beane, threw Keon Coleman under the bus, blamed officiating for the loss, claimed Beane is not doing a power play, and said the Bills hit a playoff wall. Y'all are cooked.
And what did I say?
It's been fun.
And what did I say before this playoff started? I said, there's a chance that things are going to get shaken up in Buffalo, and Josh Allen can't. The story's going to start that Josh Allen cannot win in the postseason.
Adam sent us that video that I saw earlier. The video is surfacing of
unreal.
The Bills front office all wanting Keon Coleman. Hilarious.
It's so good.
Have fun, guys. You are about to be very lousy. You know what you are? Here's what they're about to be. You know what they're about to be? They're about to be the Tennessee Titans. That's what they're about to be. I watched it with the Titans. My sister moved to Nashville. I've paid more attention to the Titans now. My brother went to school in Tennessee. Like, they don't have a team, right? So my family started watching the Titans. I've been paying closer attention to the Titans. They did the same thing. They got rid of Mike Vrabel, who's coaching in the AFC Championship game. They got rid of Derrick Henry. They got rid of A.J. Brown. They had this loaded team, and the ownership group decided to move in a different direction than the general manager at the time and brought somebody else in who traded all those players away and fired Mike Vrabel. They set themselves back 10 years. I'd be shocked if Josh Allen stays in Buffalo. They might trade him.
I would be as well, especially with all of the coaching changes that we're going to be getting to here possibly in the next segment.
Oh, my God. I know we just took up the entire sports thread on the Bills, but they're cooked. They're cooked. Absolutely cooked. I couldn't believe the stuff I saw today with the Bills press conference.
Like I said, my friend's a Titans fan. He saw the hiring of the new head coach. He said, you know what? I'm entering the portal. I can't do this with this team anymore.
You know why I haven't seen Sushi Sam in the chat? Guy's crying in his beer after watching that press conference. RIP the Bills organization. 2026 when it died. Noon lunchtime hour. Come back.
I'm going yard. Juan's pitching, I'm going yard.
But this is the only one that swings it is Ethan. Hit the pitcher as hard as I can with the ball. He's gonna swear one, dude. Send a message. It's
Base hit. Keep it classy. Base hit. 5-5 hole.
I told him he was gonna.
I'm going to try not to hurt my hamstring even more than it already is. So if I get the ball past one, it's going to be it's a good thing.
San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
New lunchtime hour on 97.3 The Fan. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We are broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. A lot to get to still on the show. We've talked a lot of Major League Baseball in the first 2 hours of the show. We've talked a lot of situations with the contracts, the collective bargaining agreement and all this other fun stuff. But as we continue, later on in the show, we're going to get to some Aztecs basketball. They got a game tonight against Grand Canyon. Tell you what the stakes of that are, as well as did the student section for Grand Canyon go too far? Did you see what they did against Utah State, Frank?
I did not.
We'll talk about that later on. There's one thing to be like rowdy and stuff. There's another thing to just do what they did the night before.
Oh, sounds fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kids are nuts. Remember, Grand Canyon is a for-profit university. It's got stockholders and stuff. Take that for what it's worth. Anyway, we're going to talk about that later on in the 1 o'clock hour. As of right now, and there's actually one other thing that happens too, that I want to get into later on in the show. At 1 o'clock will be about college sports. But does anybody remember when I gave my pitch to fix college football?
Yes.
I had a flex game for the last game of conference play as part of automatic qualifiers to get into the college football playoff.
We can date and timestamp that too.
Yeah, I have it written down on my Google Sheets. But when you play the conference schedule, you make the last week an open week in which you don't know your conference opponent until the standings are lined up. And then based on divisions, you could have them play into the tournament, right? Play into the college football playoff. I had it a little bit more complicated than what is just being pitched. But I'm glad somebody was listening. Maybe it was San Diego State. Maybe they pitched it to the Pac-12. But the new Pac-12 has 8 teams in it, and they are trying to figure out if they're going to play 7 or 8 conference games. I think we know the answer to that question based on the press release that the Aztecs put out about their non-conference schedule. But what's interesting about this schedule is it opens up the door for a flex week the last week of the season. Now, I don't know if they're thinking about this in particular, but what has happened before, or what has happened on Reddit, is somebody starting to get wise to the same idea that I have of making the last week of the season open-ended in play-ins to the conference championship or play-ins to the playoff. And what one person proposed was almost a conference tournament in the Pac-12, which I want to dive into later on in the show. I would be all, it sounds like a blast. But it wouldn't be adding any extra weeks based on how that the Pac-12 had it formulated. And you could make that the case for a lot of other leagues. So instead of teams getting the benefit of a better conference schedule because there's so many teams in these super conferences, you don't play everybody, make the last week open-ended, and then you'll be able to have some of the best teams play their way into the college football playoff seats. That, to me, is a massive win for college football. Now, we'll talk about that later on in the show. What I do want to talk about right now is some of these NFL coaching hires and what's going on in the National Football League. Okay, the National Football League and some of the coaching decisions have been baffling to me. just based on what they think they're going to get for some of the big teams, as well as what some of the coaches they've already signed. So I'm going to pass it back to Frank, and we're going to talk about some of the coaching hires in the NFL and what has happened so far in the NFL.
So we'll go from...
Might as well add the music,
yeah, might as well at this point. We'll go from most recent to furthest back in time. As of last night, the Los Angeles Chargers have hired former Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel to be their new offensive coordinator. That was not something I was expecting to see last night.
I thought Mike McDaniel was going to get a coordinator job. I didn't think it was going to be the Chargers coordinator job. I honestly think that's a pretty good hire for the Chargers. They need to add some weapons to the offense for Herbert. They also need to protect him. Now, the injuries don't help. It's not like they haven't tried to protect Justin Herbert. They have gotten the lineman to protect him. He's been hurt. But as I look at Mike McDaniel, like Mike McDaniel to me is a guy that needs to be a coordinator and not a head coach. I know that they started to play better late, the Dolphins did, and he really got him out of a jam. But Mike McDaniel to me is one of those guys that is a great coordinator and probably not that great of a coach. Like North Turner was a great offensive coordinator. He wasn't a good head coach. Why was North Turner not a good head coach? He was a player's coach. There was not a lot of accountability, right? Sloppy play a lot of the times with Norv's teams, the attention to detail, the lack of discipline. Like, that was the problem for North Turner. You watch North Turner and the offenses that he had here in San Diego when they were at the Chargers, they were scoring almost at will, but it was the other problems that were leading to the Chargers' failures that I had mentioned. He's a guy that I look at, great offensive coordinator, not capable for a head coach. Mike McDaniel, I think, is the same thing. Mike McDaniel, and what the Dolphins organization were doing, they were making a great Madden team. But the problem with making a great Madden team is you need offensive linemen and you need a defense. And the Dolphins didn't have any of those things. And I don't think that was a Dolphins problem as much as it was what the interest of the head coach was in terms of building a roster together. So Mike McDaniel with the Chargers, with Harbaugh, I think it's a great fit for him. I think it's a great fit for Los Angeles. And they'll still find a way to screw it up. That's basically all I got. It's another great move that's going to blow up in their face in the first round of the playoffs. And I will be there to cheers to it.
We were so close to having just a Charger segment without a shot.
Oh, that will never happen. That will absolutely never happen. I will say, though, I give the Chargers their praise on they're good a lot of the times, but that doesn't mean they won't screw it up.
Unfortunately, January is not a lot of the times.
Yeah.
The Tennessee Titans.
Or a team against the AFC South, apparently.
The Tennessee Titans have hired former San Francisco 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh as their new head coach. This was announced basically immediately after the Niners lost to Seattle. So that interesting timing on the announcement of the hire, but with how meh Saleh was with the Jets, I don't see the Titans getting any better from this.
The only saving grace for Saleh is the fact that he doesn't have to deal with Aaron Rodgers now.
Yeah.
I mean, the Aaron Rodgers thing is a nightmare.
Well, technically, he didn't have to deal with them the first year.
Yeah, but it's as bad as I think the Titans organization is, I don't think they're as bad as the Jets. Remember the whole saying you've told me, and then there's the Jets. Like, it's not the Jets. If Robert Saleh can build a defense in Tennessee, he'll be set. But what did the Jets have when he was with the Jets? They were badass on defense when he was there. They were good.
Yeah.
They had no offense, though. It's like, who was their quarterback before? And was it Justin Fields? Who was their quarterback before? No, he was after. Zach Wilson. Come on. Zach Wilson. Did anybody think Zach Wilson was going to be good in the NFL? I watched the guy play at BYU, and I was like, there's no way this guy's an NFL quarterback. Give me a break. The Jets are dumb. Now, here's what Robert Saleh does have in Tennessee. As much as I just crushed the Titans during the sports thread, the Titans have Cam Ward. Mm-hmm. Cam Ward is an athletic, good quarterback. Now, if they could get some linemen and let Robert Saleh build up the defense, I'm telling the Titans can be. I think that's a decent hire for Tennessee. But they set themselves 10 years back. They got rid of the general manager. They got rid of the head coach. That was a disaster that they had, and set the franchise back 10 years. I'm going to give Robert Saleh the benefit of the doubt because he doesn't have to deal with the circus that is the New York Jets. The New York Jets are bad at decision-making. They are bad at drafting and signing quarterbacks, as you can see in the last handful of quarterbacks that they have had. He doesn't have to deal with Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't have to deal with a bad quarterback. They have a good one in Tennessee and Cam Ward. They're going to be in a brand new stadium soon. I like the hire of the Titans. I like them getting Robert Saleh. I will give him a second chance because wherever he goes, the defense balls out. And if you could stop the run and run the rock, you'll be in a good spot. Maybe they'll bring Derrick Henry back.
Well, may as well.
They won't.
The Dolphins start their hiring as they hire former Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley as their new head coach. So Jeff Hafley getting a head coaching job.
This one's weird too. So this is the Dolphins hire?
Yes, this is the Dolphins head coach, yes.
So Jeff Hafley, he was a guy that was the head coach at Boston College, right?
Okay.
He was the head coach at Boston College from 2020 to 2023. And he left Boston College because of NIL and all this other stuff. You know what his coaching record was at Boston College? He was 22 and 26. He went 12 and 22 in conference play in the ACC, which is not, during that time, was not a great conference. He finished in 6th place in 2020, 6th place in 2021, 7th place in 2022, and 9th place in 2023. May I remind you, 2 of those years, that was in the division. 6th in their division, not in the overall conference. He went to 2 bowl games. They went to the Military Bowl. They lost. They won the Fenway Bowl in his last year. And he leaves because of NIL, and he doesn't want to be there anymore. Okay? Then the Packers hire him. And the Packers hire him to be their defensive coordinator. He's the defensive coordinator for 2024, 2025. They were okay defenses. They were not great defenses. And now the new Miami general manager, who was with Green Bay when they hired Hafley, has now brought Jeff Hafley over to be their head coach. I'm sorry. I don't think this is going to work. I really don't. He didn't have success at Boston College. I guess you can make the argument that they didn't have the resources there. Before that, he was the DC at Ohio State. But I look at his resume and I look at what you get excited for when you bring in coach. Like when you bring in a new coach, it's about hope, right? Mm-hmm. What sense does a guy that as a head coach had a losing record at Boston College gives you hope that this guy's going to be better than Mike McDaniel?
His name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff. My name is Jeff.
That wasn't necessarily where I was going with that, but okay.
Perfect. I'm out on this hiring. I don't think it's a good hire, but maybe he'll prove us wrong. I don't see it happening in Miami.
And they also have a quarterback controversy too coming up, don't they? Because Mike McDaniel alluded to the fact that Tagovailoa might not be the quarterback of the future for Miami. Was that a Dolphins decision or is that a Mike McDaniel's thing? So there's a question surrounding the quarterback there as well.
Too bad the Chargers couldn't trade for Tua Hey, Mike, here he is. Welcome back.
Lions hire former Cardinals offensive coordinator Drew Petzing as their new offensive coordinator. So Petzing goes from Arizona to Detroit, keeping the same job.
Was he the guy there last year? I don't know much about Drew Petzing.
Okay, then moving on.
Drew Petzing, yeah, he was the Arizona Cardinals offensive coordinator.
Oh, there you go.
Were they good on? They've been awful for a long time. Falcons
hire Kevin Stefanski as their new head coach. They will be retaining Jeff Ulbrich as their defensive coordinator as part of the staff. So Kevin Stefanski going from Cleveland to Atlanta.
I like Kevin Stefanski. I think he's a good coach. I think he's a real good coach. I think, unfortunately, here's what fans always blame their coaches for why their teams suck. The Browns suck. They will always suck. I mean, they're not good. They're poorly run.
Sorry, Clay.
The team sucks. Kevin Stefanski's a good coach. You could tell things were going to get worse when they did the whole Shedeur Sanders draft thing. I mean, the Browns have made a lot of bad decisions and have thrown Kevin Stefanski into a world of hurt. It's amazing that they're able to win games with the organization that the Browns have. And Kevin Stefanski showed that he is a good coach by winning games in an organization that can't win with the quarterback situation that he has had. He was the head coach in Cleveland from 2020 to 2025. Went 11-5 in his first year. They still finished third in the AFC North. 8-9 in 2021, 7-10, 11-6 in 2023, and then all of a sudden we had massive quarterback problems for the Browns. Kevin Stefanski's a good coach. I think it's a good hire for Atlanta. And Jeff Ulbricht's a good coach too, defensively.
Wasn't there some sort of issue this season around Jeff Ulbrich this offseason? Like something happened with his kid that got him in trouble?
His kid, I think, was the guy that called. His kid's the one that leaked Shedeur's number out to the prank calls, or he did the prank call himself
during the draft. Yes,
which is hilarious. Now that Stefanski is now working with that guy, do you think they redo that prank call? Got Shedeur's number now, right?
Oh boy! And then the biggest one so far is that the Giants have officially hired John Harbaugh to their to a 5-year deal. He did his introductory press conference yesterday. He will be reporting directly to ownership. He will not be reporting to the general manager. Harbaugh is reporting directly to John Mara
as the general manager.
Brother, I don't know.
What's the point?
Man.
What's the point? Who cares? Why is he still there?
And Sheehan yesterday was like, oh, yeah, no, this has no bearing on how we do. But, bro, the head coach is circumventing you to the owner. Like, what do you mean it has no bearing on how you do business? Of course it does.
I'd be amazed if he makes it through the season.
Why do the Giants Why don't the Giants have the heart to just fire the guy?
Just fire him.
Why is he there? You're going to publicly humiliate
this
guy?
Why is he there? You can't. Stupid.
I don't get that. And what did I tell you?
Joe Sheehan was panicking and stressed out during the press conference, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. And what?
Yeah, he's not making it to the combine. Then Harbaugh's just going to replace him.
Yeah, what did I tell you?
And then hear what you get. You get the head coach that's the general manager and the head coach. And does that ever lead to success?
No,
it does not.
But I told you, $20 million a year is not just your head coach. It's going to be your general manager as well. I told you that right from the jump. And now we're circumventing the general manager.
Well, there's other guys that are getting paid up to that level too that are not GMs and just coaches. I mean, $20 million. That's why he took the job, because he was like, it's not a sinking ship. Anyway, Kevin Stefanski's a good coach. You could just, the fact that he was able to win in that organization at all proves it. 833-288-973, 833-288-973. When we come back, NFL roadmap in the future, what they're trying to accomplish. Robert Kraft kind of leaked some secrets. 18 regular season games. Who saw that coming? And we got a disgruntled Bills fan on line one. Maybe we'll answer his call when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, Sending Number Sports Station 97 to the Fan. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Want to mention all guests on 97 to the Fan. Join us in the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with the crimes since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. The NFL wants to add more games to their slate. We're going to talk about that in just a second, but we have found the disgruntled Bills fan in town. And by the way, like I said it, I don't know if this is, you're going to have to wait for the reports on this. I can't imagine Josh Allen is super stoked with what he saw today at the press conference. I've seen some rumblings on social media about that. I haven't seen it from any legit source yet, but could there be a possibility Josh Allen's like, you know what? Get me out of this dysfunctional organization. Got a Bills fan on line one. Sam and Del Cerro, you're on the Braden Surprenant show. What's going on, Sam?
Hey, Brock. How are you?
I'm doing well. Probably better than anybody that watched the Bills press conference today. What do you got for us?
You know, it's kind of the epitome of the Bills org to do it at 9 a.m. when half the country's asleep, trying to sneak in a presser where the owner just oversteps the GM. At this point, what's the GM going to do with Josh Allen? Like you said, if I'm 17, I want out. I got no help. I'm throwing the mailmen and garbage men in January in the snow in Denver. And I got my defense who is playing out of their mind in the secondary. McDermott was scheming things up all weekend. You should watch the tape against Jacksonville. It was insane. And then the next morning we wake up and McDermott's fired out of nowhere and Bean keeps his job, which is quite possibly the worst possible outcome for the Bills org. And everybody said the Bills are different than the Sabres, same owner, and now they're being operated the same. And it really scares someone like myself, who's got a very vested interest in watching the Bills from 2,000 miles away. You know, if I'm Josh, I'm concerned. If I'm the Bills org, I'm concerned. They've got a lot of moves to make, cut, keep, extend. You know, it's going to be a scary next 5 years in Buffalo, especially if we lose 17, because there was no hope at the end. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. Being a Padres fan and a Bills fan, I mean, I guess I just like misery. And I'll end it with one thing. That was absolutely a catch.
Yeah.
See you, Frog.
See ya. Our disgruntled Bills fan. Did you see the slow-mo of that came out from NFL Films?
No.
It looks like a catch.
Oh, God.
Cooks has it like completely in his belly.
Yeah.
And then the Broncos guy had the leverage on the ground. That's why those plays always happen like that. With the leverage, you could pry it out easier as you hit the ground. It looked more of a catch. I'll play it during the break. Mike Greenberg, you remember Mike? We used to be a Mike and Mike. He's on, Greeny on ESPN. He tweeted this out. It's great. The leadership of the Buffalo Bills has done the impossible this morning. They've made the opportunity to coach a team with Josh Allen as the quarterback less appealing.
It's just,
hey, look, you can come coach Josh Allen. I don't want to go there. Gross.
Why do organizations, especially bad ones, always take the opportunity to shoot themselves in the foot? Every single time. Like no
it's like
one,
a massive target down there.
Like no one forced them to do this. No one said, hey, we need a press conference as to why you guys fired Sean McDermott. Just why? Why do you feel the need to go in front of a camera and using a lot more words say, we're incompetent, be scared of us? Why?
Friend of the show, Annie Agar, posted a meme today about the Bills, and it's the one from the show. I think it's from Community.
Okay.
Where the guy's walking in with the pizza, he's all happy, and he walks in and like, the whole house is on fire and there's stuff going on. So it's me checking in on the Bills, and it's him all happy with the pizza. And then he walks in and it's
just everything's on fire.
Yeah, Terry Pagula is trying to put out a fire on the ground. The fire is the Buffalo Bills logo. Brandon Bean is sitting in the corner doing his own thing. Keaton Coleman's over there doing something. I mean, Keaton Coleman's a second-round draft pick. They're like, this guy sucks. Like, we didn't want to draft him. Talk about all of the things that they have lit on fire today in Buffalo.
And again, he seems like such a nice dude, Coleman. He seems like such a chill, get along. Like his draft, I'm surprised that anyone would even remotely consider lying about anything from his draft, because all of his videos of like his conversations in these meetings with agents and with teams they're all over the place because of how chill he is.
Keon Coleman. So here's some of the videos that getting leaked out. You've seen like the combine stuff. Here's another one going around where they got him in like the draft war room, the front office.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tweeted out. And I'm not watching the video, but they have the quotes from it. All quotes from Brandon Beane on draft night, who, by the way, got a promotion. They promoted Brandon Beane and they fired Sean McDermott. And then they said that, well, we didn't want Keon Coleman. And they're kind of blaming like Sean McDermott wanting Keon Coleman on the team as like a reason for one of the reasons why they fired him, because like you can't bring in the good talent, whatever it is, which is already a reach anyway. And so Brandon Beane got promoted. These are all quotes from Brandon Beane on draft night. Quote, I went to bed that night saying it's Keon unless someone blows us away. The other quote, barring someone offers us something stupid, we'll take Keon Coleman. Does that sound like Sean McDermott's pick, or does that sound like Brandon Beane's pick?
I mean, it could be misconstrued.
I guess.
It can be. I mean, he didn't obviously just immediately say Keon Coleman's our guy. He didn't say that. He didn't say that directly. He didn't use those words. We're picking Keon Coleman. He didn't use those words. But, you know, it could be seen as something else. It could be seen as not his decision there, I think.
Greg Gabriel on Twitter. He's at GGabeFootball. The tweets keep coming about the Bills. Until 2 days ago, the Buffalo Bills were looked at as one of the better and classier franchises in the league. That all went down the drain with an awful firing and then a bizarre clown show of a press conference today. It was worse than embarrassing.
I mean, I'm
telling you, if you're Josh Allen, you're like, get me out of here.
You could have just lied, too. You could have said, listen, we're looking for a change of scenery. We've tried this for too long. We're doing the same thing that Baltimore did. We tried this for too long. We're looking for a change of scenery. We're looking for a new voice. That would have sufficed. But instead, you just exposed everything for no reason. You didn't have to do what you did, but you did it. Why? It's so unnecessary. You could have lied. You could have easily lied. But no, you told the truth, and you just completely ruined the image of your franchise by doing it.
They went down the path that a lot of franchises go down sometimes, and it's never great. It's like they made a decision ahead of time that they thought was going to be great, that everybody was going to love. They then got the excuse to do it. I think they thought they were going to lose to Jacksonville, and we're going to get rid of them. I mean, think about if Brandon Cooks catches that ball, are you firing him next week?
No.
Are you going to fire him the week when they lose the AFC Championship game? Like,
nope.
It seems like it was a foregone conclusion because apparently they were working on getting Brandon Beane promoted throughout the season. And so if that was already something that was going to be made up and they were going to get rid of Sean McDermott, they were just waiting for him to lose. Unless they made the Super Bowl, which they didn't obviously believe they were going to do because of the lack of depth, which, by the way, was built by Brandon Beane. And so I think they thought they were going to get McDermott out early because I don't think they thought they were going to beat Jacksonville on the road. And then they did. And now they fire McDermott after teams have already started hiring major coaches. And with each coming week of them trying to find a coach, they get less and less opportunity to hire somebody that's better than Sean McDermott, if that even exists for Buffalo. So I think they were trying to do this from the get-go. Now, they lose in overtime, right, to Denver, and they immediately fire Sean McDermott, as according to plan.
And they didn't
and they got a hellstorm because people are like, this is stupid. What are you doing? And then they doubled down and decided to do a press conference, and that made it 10 times worse because they were caught lying in the press conference. And it's made it worse. And now, not only have you alienated your fan base, but your best players are like, why am I here? This seems like a circus. When I mean best players, I mean Josh Allen. Oh, and by the way, in the process of defending your decision to fire Sean McDermott, you threw a second round draft pick on your team under the bus for what was a catastrophic decision for the organization by saying Sean McDermott drafting you is a problem. Damage control. Have fun, Buffalo. Like I said in the last hour,
damage control.
Y'all are cooked. It's over.
Brother said damage control. This is not damage control.
They have to do damage control now.
This is fire containment by lighting more fires.
No,
but
that's what they did.
I know that's a genuine way.
Now they have to do serious damage control.
How do you damage control this? I know that one way.
Stop talking. They need to stop talking. That's the problem. These organizations continue to talk and talk their way into problems instead of just shutting up, going through the hiring process, and then after they hire the new coach, talk about all the great things about the new coach, not destroying the old coach as he walks out the door.
You've gone past that, though.
No, that's what they needed to do is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, what they needed to do.
No, they can't save this. They're hosed. They've already made their bed. The more they talk now, the worse it's going to get. But now they need to shut up.
But they can't shut up.
No, they have to shut up now. They've gone past they can't fix this.
You've created so many more questions by not shutting up that now by shutting up, you can't control any sort of narrative, as flimsy as it might be. You have to keep talking.
No. That's never a good idea. No. Don't go to the Frank Marchese form of PR. No. Shut up. They just need to shut up, hire their new coach, talk about how great the new coach is, talk about the future, bring Josh Allen in, go kiss his ass, go give him a little bit more money so he doesn't jump up. You need to do all actions now and just shut up. It is. These people keep doing dumb things. Sport. One Reese is right. Best reality show ever. Watching sports. It's time to zip it. It's time to zip it. It's time to just shut your mouth. Buffalo, stop talking. Stop talking. Guys are cooked. You better go kiss Josh Allen's ass. You better tell him all the great weapons you're going to bring in for him. You better go find a coach that's an offensive-minded coach that's going to make Josh Allen, throw for all these. We're going to get you an MVP. Make a bunch of actions now and shut up.
Josh Allen strikes me as the kind of guy, though, that you can't talk off of that ledge because he cares too much. He cares too much about the guys he plays with, the guys he plays for. I don't think you can talk him off of this ledge. I think if he wants to leave, he will not show up to OTAs. I can absolutely see it.
Well, we got to play the audio for this thing. We got to do it. We got to do it. When we come back, we're going to play exactly what the Bills said at the press conference. This is what I love about the talk shows for us. We get to, the drama is great. I love talking about the drama, just in the stupidity on PR decisions. It's great. Let's get to it when we come back. The Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Urban Sports Station 97 to the Fan. Didn't get to our midday sports standoff. Try to get that tomorrow. If you could take me down sports trivia, be qualified for a chance to win our grand prize. 2 tickets to Sammy Hagar at Dolby live at Park MGM, a 2-night stay at Park MGM Las Vegas, and a $100 gas card. Sammy Hagar returns to Las Vegas with his Best of All Worlds Las Vegas residency. Get ready to rock with your favorite hits from the Van Halen years, Sammy solo hits, and more in Las Vegas this March 11th to the 21st and September 18th to the 26th at Dolby Live Park MGM. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This was not on our radar today in terms of like show prep, but it was just so funny and miserable and drama-filled this morning that we have to play it for you now. So the Bills decided to fire Sean McDermott after they lost to Denver, and the owner of the Bills went out and said he basically fired Sean McDermott for bad roster decisions and dropped the drafting Keon Coleman, which was their first pick of the 2024 draft, which was in the second round. He was the 33rd pick overall.
Wait a minute. Is this a Verizon issue? Did he fire McDermott on accident when he was meant to fire Bean, or what?
Exactly. So they fired Sean McDermott for losing to Denver and for this draft pick, apparently, that they don't think was very good with Keon Coleman.
Losing to Denver in controversial fashion, by the way.
Right.
It wasn't like they got blown out. It was a controversial call in overtime is why they lost.
And Josh Allen turned the ball over 4 times, but that's neither here nor there. And so in the process, they have promoted Brandon Beane, who's the general manager, and they have fired Sean McDermott. And so when asking about Brandon Beane and the drafts that he has had, and he's had some good picks in there. He's had a lot of misses, especially when it comes to the offense. I mean, they have no weapons in Buffalo. They have Josh Allen, who has basically saved the organization, and they have James Cook, and that's basically it. They don't have anybody else. Khalil Shakir's a decent player. I mean, he's not like a great receiver. He's not someone that you're like really hoping for, right? I mean, you start looking at some of the guys that they have drafted and their like overall stats. I mean, Keon Coleman's got 67 receptions for 960 yards and 8 touchdowns in 2 years. I think Dalton Kincaid's been a pretty good ad, but he's number one. Here's their first round draft pick back in 2023. USD kid. Went to Utah too, but went to USD first. He's got 9 touchdowns. But you start looking at their overall numbers. I mean, there's a lot of misses on here as well for an organization that just promoted their general manager. This was during the press conference. They were asking Brandon Beane, who is now their director of football ops, director of football personnel. What is his official title now?
Director of football operations.
Director of football operations. President of football operations, which is the one spot above the general manager spot. So they promote Brandon Beane, who has been the general manager since 2017, and they've fired Sean McDermott. And they asked Brandon Beane at this press conference, which was a joke, about the Keon Coleman situation. And Brandon Beane doesn't even get the answer before Terry Pagula comes in, the owner of the Bills, to basically throw Keon Coleman and Sean McDermott under the bus.
Yeah, can I interrupt? I'll address the Keon situation. The coaching staff pushed to draft Keon. I'm not saying Brandon wouldn't have drafted him, but he wasn't his next choice. That was Brandon being a team player and taking advice of his coaching staff, who felt strongly about the player. And, he's taken, for some reason, heat over it and not saying a word about it. But I'm here to tell you the true story.
It's the coaching staff's fault for why the general manager drafted Keon Coleman with their first pick in the 2024 draft. It was the 33rd pick overall. It was a second-round pick. That wasn't Brandon who we just promoted. That was our coaching staff pressuring him into doing it. Well, it's funny you said that because there's clips going around. Like the combine clip, you can go see that. That's full force on social media right now where they're talking about drafting Keon Coleman. Sean McDermott's not part of that group, by the way. But then there's the other one where they're interviewing. It looks like it's part of some type of Hard Knocks or NFL Films situation when they're going through the draft. And Brandon Beane is being interviewed about the draft. And you can hear him talking in the background with some of the deals. Here's the 38-second clip of that.
Basically, when I went to bed that night, I was like, it's Keon unless someone just blows us away. We didn't feel anything was attractive enough for us to pass up on Keon.
All things considered. All things considered. Get the guy who's feels the best fit. Yep.
And those might be obvious. But so tomorrow, who we picking?
We're just going to keep trading more. We're going to get 14 fifths, barring someone offering us something stupid. We'll take Keon Coleman.
That's the voice of Brandon Beane on both of those occurrences. Nah, man, he's just doing it to be a team player. He didn't actually want to draft him. Are we for real right now, Buffalo? Are we for real right now? Did the owner of the Bills forget the internet exists? Did he forget that like all this stuff is always out there? I mean, the people of X and all these accounts like Barstool Sports and all the major media accounts, ESPN and Fox and all that, are just destroying the Bills today.
It is the bane of every liar's existence, a microphone and a camera.
Did that at any point sound like he was getting held against his will to make that draft pick?
No.
They haven't done really that great of drafting receivers in Buffalo, and you want to know why? I mean, you want to get the explanation? I mean, they haven't had any weapons in Buffalo in a long time. They drafted a receiver last year in the 7th round, Caden Prather. Guy's not played in any games. Receivers, Keon Coleman, which, by the way, is not a great pick. Maybe give him a chance, but they just threw him under the bus in today's press conference. He's played in 26 games, has 67 receptions for 960 yards and 8 touchdowns. They went on to draft. That was the only receiver they drafted in 2024. 2023, they drafted Justin Shorter. Justin Shorter has played in 17 games in his career. In 2022, they drafted Khalil Shakir. He's been okay. He's played in 62 games in his career, has 197 receptions and 11 touchdowns since 2022. Not necessarily a blow, knock your socks off type of draft pick. They drafted Marquez Stevenson. He's not in the league anymore. Receiver in the 6th round in 2021. He played in 5 games, got no receptions. 2020, they drafted Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis has done a pretty good job in his career, I would say, but he's not like he's always hurt, first of all. Gabe Davis, 80 games, 3,098 yards, 30 touchdowns. Not a bad 4th round pick for the Bills. They also drafted Isaiah Hodgins. Anybody know who Isaiah Hodgins is? He's still in the league. He's played in 38 games, has 70 receptions for 749 yards and 8 touchdowns. A 6th round draft pick out of Oregon State. 2019, didn't draft any receivers. 2018, drafted Ray McLeod. Most of Ray's success he's had with other teams, not the Bills. And then in 2017, the first year, they drafted Zay Jones, or Brandon Beane did. Zay Jones, 307 receptions, 18 touchdowns, 3,295 yards since 2017. He's played in 123 games in the NFL. The Bills have had okay drafts. They haven't had like great drafts. But to me, the entire blame of their failures on just the head coach while talking about how great the general manager is, that's the problem that we have with this press conference. It's the let's praise our general manager as they talk about how they were able to win games with the limited depth that they have had. I'm sorry. Is that a better? does that talk about the GM or is that talking about the coach? Like, if I don't have the depth yet I'm still winning, isn't that more praise for Sean McDermott than it is for Brandon Beane? He said that today in the press conference. I agree with Frank. He must have thought he was firing the wrong guy.
It was the Verizon outage. It had to be.
Oh my God. They promoted the general manager. They fired the head coach. What a clown show. Good luck getting a guy better than Sean McDermott. Good luck keeping Josh Allen. Bills are cooked. They're cooked. You thought the game on Sunday was the worst moment. They decided to have a press conference. The drama continues.
Come on, baby. Come on. Let's go. Oh, there we go.
Did the director's cabinet give you that shirt? Did you block out the noise and just swing it? We got a bunch of guys that let the noise get into their heads and they're swinging the club.
Okay. I like to think I'm making Kyle better. I've been hitting balls down the middle and Kyle's side. No, that's not good enough. All right, what goes further? Braden's drive or me throwing the football here? Oh! Shot.
Wow. Hey, put that one in between commercials.
Rocks. The next group coming up too. Ow! I don't know how good it is.
Punch, 1840. Ha ha!
Phillip Rivers.
He played quarterback in high school, by the way.
Falcon. They didn't have many quarterbacks in Colorado.
Falcon. We got here. How we
I could just put it in my bag.
Do you have one of those? Do you have one of these? We didn't win, but.
Wow! That's Gary's 7th mulligan. I think I'll pick up that other one.
Cigar guy.
Trade myself to there. That's not a bad putt. Cut. Get there!
Oh, we got a bird, right? Under now. That was a great putt by you, by the way. I don't know why you want to be on camera.
What? One. Hey, bud. Go. Come on, baby. Come on. Let's go. Oh, there we go.
Did the director's cabinet give you that shirt? Did you block out the noise and just swing it? We got a bunch of guys that let the noise get into their heads and they're swinging the club.
Okay. I like to think I'm making Kyle better. I've been hitting balls down the middle and Kyle's side. No, that's not good enough. All right, what goes further? Braden's drive or me throwing the football here? Oh!
Shot. Wow. Hey, put that one in between commercials.
Rocks. The next group coming up too. Ow! I don't know how good it is.
Punch, 1840. Ha ha!
Phillip Rivers.
He played quarterback in high school, by the way.
Falcon. They didn't have many quarterbacks in Colorado.
Falcon. We got here. How we
I could just put it in my bag.
Do you have one of those? Do you have one of these? We didn't win, but.
Wow! That's Gary's 7th mulligan. I think I'll pick up that other one.
Cigar guy.
Trade myself to there. That's not a bad putt. Cut. Get there!
Oh, we got a bird, right? Under now. That was a great putt by you, by the way. I don't know why you want to be on camera.
What? One. Hey, bud. Go. Come on, baby. Come on. Let's go. Oh, there we go.
Did the director's cabinet give you that shirt? Did you block out the noise and just swing it? We got a bunch of guys that let the noise get into their heads and they're swinging the club.
Okay. I like to think I'm making Kyle better. I've been hitting balls down the middle and Kyle's side. No, that's not good enough. All right, what goes further? Braden's drive or me throwing the football here? Oh!
Shot. Wow. Hey, put that one in between commercials.
Rocks. The next group coming up too. Ow! I don't know how good it is.
Punch. 1840. Ha ha.
Phillip Rivers.
God. He played quarterback in high school, by the way.
Falcon. They didn't have many quarterbacks in Colorado.
Falcon we got here. How we
I could just put it in my bag. Do you have one of those? Do you have one of these? We didn't win, but
hilarious. We got to put a final bow on this conversation. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant, making fun of the Bills today. That's been like the last two segments. This is the last part of me making fun of the Bills. Andrew Siciliano tweeted this out from the press conference. I mean, this press conference is just gold. Sports. The best drama you'll find. You think Bravo's got great drama television, reality television? Sports does. Sports does. Andrew Siciliano tweeted this part out of the press conference today for the Bills, who were talking about, you know, why it justifies firing Sean McDermott and promoting general manager Brandon Beane. Disaster. That's what this was. One of the comments was great. They should show this in college as a teaching tool, this press conference. Terry Pagula, who is the owner of the Bills, from their deal today. I'm aware there's criticism out there of our franchise. Does anyone know what the numbers 5, 2, 3, 2, 2, 6 represent? That's our seeding over the last 7 years in the playoffs. It's impossible to have those kinds of results without a good roster. First comment. Or a good coach? Question mark. All of the flexes today in the Bills press conference to talk about how great the general manager was ended up not being flexes for the GM and not the flex that they thought it was. It was honestly proving the point that they shouldn't have fired Sean McDermott. They won despite those rosters. You also have a really good quarterback in Josh Allen, who you asked to be the entire team all the time. I think the Bills won despite the rosters that they have had because they have Josh Allen and Sean McDermott. A joke. Hilarious. All right, let's get to today's biggest fan. Want to congratulate today's biggest fan, Ryan Sullivan in San Diego. Ryan Sullivan in San Diego, give us a call in the next 10 minutes at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, and you'll qualify for a grand prize, 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game with all the fan staff later this season, catered by Spiro's Mediterranean Cuisine. Register your name. Remember to register your name at 97throughthefantasy.com/biggest fan. Ryan Sullivan in San Diego, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Ryan Sullivan, you're today's biggest fan. I can't stop talking. I can't stop destroying the Bills today. Hilarious.
Going to have to, though, because we have a basketball game to get to, 2 basketball games.
We got the Aztecs basketball game to get to tonight. USD plays basketball tonight. We're going to get that in a little bit. We'll talk about the NFL roadmap tomorrow show, about what the league wants to do. Robert Kraft kind of gave some secrets out. The biggest thing, of course, is they want 18 regular season games. Anybody surprised by that?
Nope.
No, I'm not surprised by that. Anybody surprised that there's a lot of injuries in the NFL and a lot of these teams are skeleton squads now? By the time we get the AFC and NFC championship games, anybody surprised by that with the extra games they have to play in a violent sport? No, not surprised. It's amazing, the NFL. I mean, we talk a lot of praise about the NFL for a lot of marketing things that they do, business things, how they construct their league, for sure. They do a lot of dumb things, too. But as Go Aztecs mentioned, as somebody that's going to be the commissioner of college football, I can't be doing the commissioner of Major League Baseball and the NFL at the same time. They got their own problems they got to fix. Something I wanted to bring up as I talk about the commissioner of college football. I saw this. First of all, I want to point out that I mentioned this on the air months ago about what I would do to change college football. I would change the way that the format is played for, unifying everything when it comes to how you do your schedule, and make the schedule for college football a lot like the NFL in terms of everybody's playing by the same rules conference-wise. And what I thought would be was an idea of a flex schedule. I promise you go back and listen to the show when I did. This is how I fixed college football. I mentioned this. And I'm glad the people at the Pac-12 listen to me. I would have the last game of conference play. Everybody plays 9 conference games. I'd have the last game. You play 8, and then the 9th game, to me, based on how you would make divisions, would be, in a sense, a flex week, which means you don't know who you're playing until you get to that point. And instead of doing a conference championship game, you have the number one of one division versus the number 2 of the other division. And the winner of that, both of them get to go to the playoff. The winner of that is the conference champ. Then you have the number 3 on one side, play the 4 on the other, back and forth. And you play for automatic qualifiers college football playoff. It was a little bit more complicated than that to an extent. If you looked at it on paper, it would make sense to you. But the overall point was you don't know what the last conference game is going to be until the standings are done for the week prior. And then that would be your game for the last game of the regular season as you would eliminate the conference championship game. And instead you would have a conference championship weekend in which everybody's still playing. You still determine your champion, but you would have the number 1 would play the number 2. And it'd be like a championship game, but it counts as your extra conference game. So instead of playing 13 games in the season, you're still playing the 12, and you're still getting the conference championship game in. That was the kind of grand scheme of things. But with the Pac-12, they have come up with a flex type of schedule. They have thrown that around. And somebody on Reddit, on College Football Reddit, has also proposed something that was kind of in between what the Pac-12 was proposing and what I proposed earlier in the year. And that is basically a little bit of a 4-team playoff for the Pac-12. So listen carefully. So the Pac-12 conference has 8 teams in it, if you're following so far. And I know Frank's working on stuff, but I need him to just acknowledge on some of these things. So the Pac-12 conference, right, Frank, has 8 teams, which means
yes,
you got 7 opponents.
Yes.
But the problem with that is you got to play at least 8 conference games.
I could see how the astute mathematician out there might see that as being unequal or a problem.
Why? Because you can't play yourself, right?
Correct.
There's only 7 opponents, and you got to play 8 conference games. So how do we determine what the 8th game is? You're going to have to play somebody twice. Now, do you play a rival twice? Like, does Washington State play Oregon State twice? Does San Diego State play Fresno State twice? Does Boise State play, I guess, Colorado State twice? Like, it's kind of forced because they don't have all the rivalries.
Well, no, you name it something like I don't know.
UCF and UConn did. What was the name of that stupid trophy that they left?
Well,
there?
no, I was just saying you name the rivalry something like the Vetter Cup or something like that, and you kind of just you force it every year.
No, you don't do that. Okay. So the pitch was for this flex week, which I like. So you have to play an 8th conference game. What if you took the top 4 teams and you had the number 1 team that finished in the standings after they played all each other, play the number 4 team again. And then you have the number 2 team play the number 3 team. And then the winners play each other the next week for the conference championship game. Because everybody loves the conference championship game, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would essentially be creating a 4-team playoff in the Pac-12. It's almost like a conference tournament that you get in college basketball. And here's the thing, like 5, 6, 7, and 8 wouldn't be in the quote playoff, but they still have to play their 12th game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they would just play each other. Like 5 and 6 can play, and 8 and 7 and 8 can play for 5th place and 7th place. And that could be the same weekend on November 27th, 2026, the last weekend of college regular season, right? That's their 12th game. And the only one playing an extra game would be the two teams that won in the 14 playoff. And they'd be playing in the conference championship game, just like you would already have. So you would have 4 teams in the last week playing for a conference championship bid. And then you'd have 4 teams just playing for seeding and who knows, probably bowl games and all that other stuff.
I like your idea better as far as the splitting the conference in half and then having 1 play 1, 2 play 2, 3 play 3. I like that better, but for the Power Act 12, the conference is too small in order for something like that to work. So I could see
so that's
where
why this
I
makes sense.
I like the tournament for the quote unquote tournament for the smaller conferences.
Here's what I would do though. Like my proposal was if the power entities all got 4 bids, right? The number 1 on both divisions would play each other for the championship, right? So you'd be the conference champion, and they're both already in the playoffs. That's the 2 spots. And then what I would have, instead of having 2 play 2 and 3 play 3, I would have 2 of one division play 3 of the other. And you know what I'm saying? So both the 2s play the 3s. And then what happens is whoever wins those games gets the other 2 bids for the playoff. So then you would have 14. So like in the Big 12, right? You break the Big 12 up into 2 divisions.
Yeah.
2 8-team divisions. And the last week of the year, you pair up the champions, right? So let's just say you have, Texas Tech and TCU are the champion of their division. So they play each other in the Big 12 championship game. They're both in the playoff, but one of them gets to play for a first round bye.
Yes.
Whatever. Or just to be the champion of the league. And so that way the league gets the conference championship game. But also in the conference championship weekend, you get the conference championship games in. You don't have to give the teams an extra week, right? So you don't get a 13th game. And then everybody in the conference is still playing because you just match up. So you'd have Tech play TCU in the championship. And then let's say BYU finished second in their division and Houston finished third and Utah finished second in the other division and Arizona finished third. So BYU would play Arizona and Utah would play Houston, right? In the 2 versus 3. And whoever wins those games are both in the college football playoff, and whoever loses is done. And then from there on out, the 4s play each other, the 5s play each other, 6, 7, 8. And so the conference championship weekend is really the last weekend of the college football season. There's no 13th game, so you don't add an extra game for these teams. You don't make the fans have to travel over the place. And then you get the fairest way to get your 4 automatic qualifiers for your conference. Now, just because you lost that game doesn't mean you're out. You could potentially make it as a at-large team. But at least with that, Frank, if you don't make it as an at-large, you have the ability to clinch a spot by winning in the final week and make it into the tournament.
Yeah, you have the ability to play your way in. And that's for bigger conferences, though.
Those are for the conferences that have 12 or more teams.
Yeah, the ACC, Big 12,
Big 10, SEC,
SEC.
The autonomy 4s, like a lot of people like to say.
Great.
But for the Pac-12, when you have 8 teams and you have to play an extra week, now you have a 4-team playoff.
Yeah, I like that. I really do like that idea. It changes things up a little bit. It's instead of just the conference championship, you do what your original idea does, which is take as much of the human element out of it as possible. Because if you're playing a quote unquote tournament style thing, you don't have to worry about computer algorithms to see who gets into the conference championship game. So you're taking that human element out of it, and you don't have a situation like the Mountain West had this year where the team that beat 2 of the teams in front of it didn't make it to the conference championship game. So I do like that idea, and it is a very creative way to get that last championship game in, to get that last conference game in, and also still have it mean something and not just be another repeat matchup.
But you also keep the conference championship moneymaker that these conferences never want to give up, right?
Yes.
But again, I wouldn't make it 9 conference teams. You'd get 8. And in these leagues with 16 teams, it makes perfect sense because you played your division, which is 7 teams, and then your 8th game, same thing like the Pac-12, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'd be playing the team of your caliber of the other division,
Yes.
and you're playing for a chance to go. And therefore, it's no BS on a sense of, well, their division's easier than ours, right?
No,
well,
it's
now
not.
we can prove it, right? So in those, remember that the whole reason why they got rid of the divisions in college football is because 3 of the best teams in the Big Ten were all in the same division. Like Penn State's that they're going like, well, Purdue won the conference over the other division. We would destroy them.
Yeah.
But in this particular sense, if you went back to whatever the last year was of the divisions, which I think was, let's go back to 2022. So in 2022, just to use it as an example, the Big Ten had 14 teams in it, right? 2, 4, 6, 7, 2, 4, 6, 7. If you went by this proposal, because they had 7 teams in each division, they'd play like they'd play the 6 teams, whatever. On their side, you could probably mix and match who you play on the other side. But in the final week of the Big Ten Conference, Michigan would have played Purdue for the conference championship game, right? That's what it was, right?
That would have gone over well.
Michigan played Purdue in the conference championship game. Since you won your division, Purdue, you get one of the automatic qualifier spots for the conference. Fair. You won your division.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. Michigan, they win the game. They are the number 1 team. They get the automatic qualifier. They're in the playoff. And then Ohio State, as the 2, would play the 3 of the West, which was Iowa. And Penn State, the 3, would play the 2 of the West, which is Illinois. And the winners of those games would also clinch. So instead of just rewarding, the top 2 in each division, which would be stupid, if you're Penn State sitting at 3rd, you're like, well, we play in a better division, they get to prove it by beating the 2 on the other side.
Yeah.
By beating Illinois. And now all of a sudden you have, if you're the Big Ten, your 4 automatic qualifiers, you have roughly your 4 best teams representing your conference, and it was played on the field. It was played on the field, which is the biggest part of this entire equation. Now, go back to the new Pac-12. From a smaller conference standpoint, a conference that only has 8 teams, I love this idea because now you get a mini tournament at the end of the season. It gets eyeballs to the game. And now you're looking at San Diego State. Let's talk about it from a local perspective, right? So the Aztecs, they're going to play Boise and Fresno and Washington State, Oregon State, Texas State, Utah State, Colorado State. You get to play everybody in your conference once. And if they finish in second, now all of a sudden, if Washington State finished 3rd, you're hosting Washington State the last week of the year for an automatic, if you win, you're in the conference championship game. Instead of let's use metrics and computers and let's tweet and let's put it to chance and all this other stuff. Win and in. It's a tournament now. And so now the Pac-12 is playing a conference tournament before whoever wins their league will represent themselves in the college football playoff, theoretically. I love this idea. And I guess we will wait and see when the schedule comes out for the Pac-12. But if anybody at San Diego State is listening to this, or maybe you're already working on it, vote for this to happen. Because you know what? This is a great idea with nonstop entertainment. I'm on board. I love this. Now, some of this was my idea in a different way, but this is where I think they need to be getting to with college football, making the schedule more like the NFL, because what you could build off of that too, Frank, is if you have the 8 conference games, the non-conference becomes 4. You could play the other teams that finished the same spot as you the year before in terms of the other conferences. The SEC 3 plays the Big 12 3 and whatever. Mm-hmm. And then that way you have something to base the non-conference on. You could play one group of 5 school as part of those 4 games. And then everyone's like, well, what about the FCS? Make them play a preseason game that doesn't count. And so you still get the conference championship game. You still get the FCS game. They're playing 13 games, but you have a preseason game that doesn't count. So nobody gets, you don't have to worry about guys getting hurt, but you still get the use out of it. And now you have a centralized schedule for college football, and you let college football decide who makes the playoff. Get rid of committees. If you want a committee still to get the last 6 teams in the college football playoff, sure. But that's what it is. And then redo the schedule. Let's roll. Let's play. Let's end this thing on January 1st.
Mm-hmm.
I've fixed college football yet again. It's not hard.
At least you're humble.
It's easy.
The best thing is you're humble.
It's not hard.
You're humble
and
about
guess
it,
what?
which is even better.
But it's all about money. You can make a fortune doing that. Move the bowl games to the beginning of the season. Now we're really cooking. Let them draft. I already talked about this. Do the draft in March. Everybody's going to be tuned into ESPN. Are you kidding me? ESPN? Oh, let's tune into the draft reveal. Oh, the Holiday Bowl with their first pick. They pick Notre Dame. Oh, that's great. They go back. Oh,
and Notre Dame opts out.
You can't opt out. It's a regular season game. Counts in the standings. Oh, it's Notre Dame, and then we draft. Okay, in the Holiday Bowl drafts, BYU, whatever. Oh, sounds good. All the Notre Dame fans buy tickets. Tourism. Hey, it's great. Love it. Move college basketball to the tourism of the winter break that you need. I have fixed it all. Thank you. I will accept all your gifts in the mail. We do have to take a break. Let's talk about Aztec basketball. When we come back, I have fixed college football. Thank you. I will do it again in another month. Aztecs basketball against Grand Canyon. We'll break it down when we come back. Aztecs basketball tonight. USD is also in action. The Toreros will be taking on Washington State over at the JCP on the campus of the University of San Diego. I will be at that contest, calling it for ESPN Plus. That game starts at 6:30. Aztecs in action against Grand Canyon tonight. And as we take a look at the Aztecs basketball game tonight against Grand Canyon, it's a tough little matchup for the Aztecs against the Lopes. I mean, this is a team that is they play in a difficult place to play. It is a team that comes in at 11-6, 4-2, and just knocked off Utah State, who was one of the ranked teams in the conference in the Mountain West Conference. And they were able to knock off Utah State over the weekend. And so it's a tough spot for San Diego State coming up against Grand Canyon. Now, a couple of things with this, and we got to take a break, so this is going to be a two-part deal. I'll get you the metrics on everything, but I got to get an update on, it doesn't sound like Magoon Guath's going to play tonight. Did we see that report from Mark Ziegler?
I did not know.
It sounds like he might be out, so I gotta double check. But yeah, he's out. So Magoon, they're gonna have to do it again without Magoon Guath. So Magoon Guath is injured. He's out for the Aztecs game at Grand Canyon. The report from Mark Ziegler from earlier today: Aztecs will be without Magoon Guath on Wednesday night at Grand Canyon and perhaps longer. 7-foot starting forward accompanied the team to Phoenix, but is listed as out on the Mountain West availability report for the 8 p.m. Pacific time game at Grand Canyon University Arena. The report doesn't specify injuries, although it is likely a hip issue, not his surgically repaired right knee. Guath tweaked the hip last week at Wyoming, then did it again early in Saturday's home game against New Mexico, subbing himself out and briefly headed to the locker room. He returned to the game later in the first half and played 5.5 minutes in the second half before being subbed out for good with 9:06 left. Same thing as Wyoming. Coach Brian Dutcher said Saturday he has a hip flexor problem at Wyoming. He turned it the wrong way, and we had to take him out today. 2 minutes in, he took himself out because you can see he has a hip impingement of some kind, and it bothered him. That was over the weekend against New Mexico. Can San Diego State be able to overcome Magoon Guath being out into the game today? I think they can. The thing with Magoon, he was finally starting to hit his stride a little bit before he got tweaked against Wyoming. And it was starting to see like vintage Magoon Guath. And that was a big reason why the Aztecs have won 7 straight games in the Mountain West Conference. They're going to have to do it without him tonight. And it's going to be a difficult game for San Diego State against Grand Canyon. I mean, this is a rowdy place. GCU Arena is the story because it is not a normal road environment. This is a design for chaos arena. 7,000 seat building, low ceiling. They pipe in music, nonstop movement. They call the student section the Havocs. They rush the arena an hour before tip, filling prime seats and meant to intimidate the opposing team. Brian Dutcher had this to say about playing there. It's everything about it is made for noise. Multiple players and coaches, including Donovan Mitchell and Rick Pitino, have called it the toughest crowd they have ever faced. And what makes this game even more difficult, Frank, are they're not going to get credit for this game for as difficult it is to win there. Because Grand Canyon, in the grand scheme of things, when you talk about the net rankings, and you talk about the RPI, and you talk about where everything stands in terms of metrics, they're not going to give San Diego State a boost with the win. It's not going to be as big of a boost as it would be like beating Utah State, right? Grand Canyon, as of right now, in the net rankings is ranked 93rd. Now, it's gone up. It was in the hundreds. So they're up to 93 now in both the net and the RPI. And with that, it makes it a quad 2 game. You need Grand Canyon to be in the top 75 for it to be a quad 1 game. And the Aztecs right now don't have a lot of quad 1 games. There are a couple of road games coming up are going to be quad 1 games for the Aztecs, but Nevada's the only quad 1 game that they have so far under their belt as a win. Michigan and Arizona are quad 1 games that were both losses. They've had games drop down to quad 2. New Mexico's a quad 2 game. Baylor is now a quad 2 game because they have dropped in the net rankings at a neutral site. Boise State's a quad 2 game that they played at home. So with Grand Canyon being ranked 94th in the country in the net rankings, or 93rd, playing on the road against the 93rd ranked team gives you a quad 2 game. So if they win it, not a huge boost, but a loss could really hurt their metrics a little bit because, again, not only is that part of the equation, but the committee always scoffs at teams losing at Grand Canyon, even though it's too scary of a place for most Power 4 schools to want to schedule a game at.
Yeah, it doesn't take stadium atmosphere into account, those rankings. It just looks solely at the teams, but it's going to be a rough game. And as far as missing Magoon Guath and everything that he started, he is a tall, lanky kid. And this is something that you see a lot with tall, lanky kids, is that they cannot stay healthy. It's hard for them to stay healthy for whatever reason. And Guath, unfortunately, falls into that category, and he's having an issue right now. And it's most frustrating, again, because he was just starting to get into his rhythm and starting to play like the player that we expected him and know that he can play. It's going to be a very, very difficult night, a game that you would expect on paper San Diego State to win. However, in practice, this is going to be a very difficult night for the Aztecs.
Then yet another middle finger from the Mountain West Conference to San Diego State as they part ways. What do I mean by that? They shouldn't even be playing this game anyway. I'll talk about it to finish up the show when we come back as we take a look at Aztecs and Grand Canyon to finish up the show on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Summer Sports Station 97 to the Fan.
Bet tonight.
Not a bad idea.
That I'll have more hits than you.
Let's do it right now.
How much you want to bet?
We'll do $5.
Oh God!
Oh, it hit the ball in the air. Oh, sick, dude. What a great leadoff! What a great leadoff!
Yeah. You want to be mic'd up?
Oh. No, Rick. There's the Joel we know. Well, you're lucky I'm a huge target at first, dude.
Someone gassed.
Chel's got to get us in, though. We're screwed next at bat. That's not great.
Zion. Are you? That is the saddest thing. Are you insane? That is sad. No confidence.
You better get a hit now.
It's like Moneyball. He's got no confidence. Ugly girlfriend.
Come on, Sam.
Oh, hose him!
Oh, we got it. Can we get a first baseman that can catch? One time, Matt. Nice. All right.
Glasses on too. That's why.
Oh, damn it. Can we score some runs? Play first base. All of a sudden, it's locked down.
Who bats after Q?
I think it's the other team.
Go!
Go! Go!
Show Braden how to run home.
Oh, damn it. Got onto that bat.
Hey, the Surprenant suck.
Come on, Cello.
I can play cello.
Oh, look at the throw.
Oh my God.
Oh, pick me, dude.
You can't see it. It sucks.
I can't see anything.
Oh, crap back. Did you ask him to buy you a beer after that?
Hey,
Got us beer, dude.
dude. Are you serious right now?
He did. Dude, yeah, Ethan, seriously, dude.
I know. Hey, Ethan, sit next one. You don't boo nobodies. That's what I'm hearing.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Nice ball, Matt. Nice job.
I'm the best. I'm the best.
Hey, good job. Hey, we won. Nice job. Good job.
Good game. Good game, guys. Good game. Good game. Good game. Good game. Where do you want me to sign, sir?
Like where you're always.
He'll set the Fox.
No, nobody makes me sign. But I'll whatever you need for your kids or whatever, like sign ball or anything. Let me know.
You're all over it.
Bet tonight.
Not a bad idea.
That I'll have more hits than you.
Let's do it right now.
How much you want to bet?
We'll do $5.
Oh God!
Oh, it hits ball in the air. Yeah, sick, dude. What a great leadoff! What a great leadoff!
Yeah. You want to be mic'd up?
Oh. No, Rick. There's the Joel we know. Well, you're lucky I'm a huge target at first, dude.
Someone gassed.
Chell's got to get us in, though. We're screwed next at bat. That's not great.
Zion. Are you? That is the saddest thing. Are you insane? That is sad. No confidence.
Either you better get a hit
Yeah,
now.
it's like Moneyball. He's got no confidence. Ugly girlfriend.
Come on, Sam.
Oh, hose him.
Oh, we got it. Can we get a first baseman I can catch? One time, Matt. Nice. All right.
Glasses on too. That's why.
Oh, damn it. Can we score some runs? Play first base. All of a sudden, it's locked down.
Who bats after Q?
I think it's the other team.
God. Go! Go!
Show Braden how to run home.
Oh, damn it. Got under that bat.
Hey, the Surprenant suck.
Come on, Cello.
I can play Cello.
Oh, look at the look at the throw.
Oh my God.
Oh, pick me, dude. You can't see it. It sucks.
I can't see anything.
Oh, crap back. Did you ask him to buy you a beer after that? Got us beer, dude.
Are you serious right now?
He did.
Dude, yeah, Ethan, seriously, dude.
I know. Hey, Ethan, sit next one. You don't boo nobodies. That's what I'm hearing.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Nice ball, Matt. Nice job.
I'm the best. I'm the best.
Hey, good job. Hey, we won. Nice job. Good job.
Good game. Good game, guys.
On 39 on the Fan. All guys, join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime. Since 2010, visit davidpshapirolaw.com. Talked a lot of different things today. We made fun of the Bills today. Talked about the coaching searches today. A lot of baseball in the first 2 hours of the show. And now we're talking about college basketball, most notably San Diego State. Now, San Diego State has played their way to the top of the Mountain West Conference by starting conference play 7-0. They currently sit at 47 in the net rankings. They are also ranked pretty high in a lot of different metrics. They're 32 in the Ken Palm, which is great. That's something that the committee looks at. Strength of record is 44 in the country. What strength of record means, it's you want that number to be very low, obviously, like number one. It's how you do compared to what an average team with your schedule would do. So the higher the number, the better it is. They got a 44 on that. Their Ken Palm's 45. Their Kevin Pawuga index is 32. They got a strength of record by ESPN. That's 44. Their net win above bubble is 40. I don't know if that means. I'm sure I'll figure that out in the next couple of days or so. There's so many metrics to look at on here. But the Aztecs overall have now, with the 7-game win streak, have played their way back into the conversation of an at-large bid and not part of the equation of we got to win a tournament in Vegas. Now, here's the thing about the Grand Canyon game tonight. They're going to have to do without Magoon Guath. Now, they were able to win on Saturday without Magoon Guath. I mean, he did play in the game, but not enough minutes, not a lot of minutes due to his injury. They're going into a 7,000-seat building that is built for noise and the chaos that is Grand Canyon basketball. Aztecs 13-4, 7-0 on the year. They sit alone at the top of the Mountain West Conference standings ahead of Utah State, who just went to Grand Canyon and lost. The Lopes are 11-4 and 4-2, and they have made 3 straight NCAA tournaments. What is believed to be they have the most expensive roster in the conference. And they are 40-3 at home over the last 3 seasons. Grand Canyon has beaten San Diego State twice at home, including last season, when during so the Havocs, the student section, ended up storming the court after the game. San Diego State is not ranked, so if they lose tonight and the Havocs storm the court, it's a soft look. Aztec players have described this place as very hectic, very loud. Reese Dixon Waters embraced the chaos last time, even walked toward the student section to hear the chants. Miles Bird now enters as a Mountain West preseason player of the year, no longer anonymous. Question isn't talent, it's composure. Can San Diego State block out the noise, personal chance, and momentum swings, or does the environment tilt the game? Grand Canyon, like I said before, is a very difficult place to play, and unfortunately for San Diego State, it's a trap game because they're not going to get the benefit of winning there. If you look at the losses that they have had, they haven't lost too many games at home, as mentioned before. But they did lose earlier this year to Youngstown State at home, which is a tough loss for Grand Canyon. They also lost to Colorado State at home. So out of their losses this year, they have lost 2 of those games at home out of their 6. That's including the last 3 seasons, the 40-3 record that I mentioned. So it is doable. It's more doable this year, even though they have a very expensive roster. But here's a question, though. And I teased this earlier in the show with Grand Canyon. Like, Grand Canyon is a for-profit university. They got stockholders and everything like that. They're trying to get as many kids or many students there as possible. They're trying to make money. They don't have a football team. They pump everything into basketball. But a couple of things. One, this is a game that the Aztecs didn't want to play. And by the way, the Mountain West forced this. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But here's what they did. This is what Grand Canyon did to Utah State. Did you hear about this, Frank?
I did not, no.
Does it cross the line is my question.
The answer's probably going to be yes. But
before Utah State's loss at Grand Canyon, the student section for the Lopes allegedly over the weekend before the game distributed coaches and players' phone numbers, which led to disturbing messages that they sent the players and the coaches the night before the game. What they sent, I don't necessarily know. I'd have to take a deeper look. But I will say this. Utah State coach Jared Calhoun called it unacceptable, which raises the question, are they being a creative student section or is this borderline harassment? And where should the conference step in? That is just way too much of a level right there. Duke University students back in the day probably would call these guys, getting their personal phone numbers and sending them. Who knows what kind of stuff they sent them? It's like, come on. Come up with your own stuff on the whatever.
That's not borderline harassment. That is just pure straight harassment.
Correct. And here's the other. Like Adam Paul in the chat's like, well, the Cameron Craze used to do it. You know what? Does that make it okay? It doesn't make it okay. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's getting to a point where it's like, come on. Who knows what they ended up saying? I'd have to get the reports on that. I'd have to look exactly what was said. But he called it unacceptable. Here's where it gets frustrating, though. Like, Utah State has a right to gripe. Colorado State, Fresno State, Boise State, and San Diego State. Those are the ones that are defecting from the conference. San Diego State didn't want to play this game a couple years ago. They only went there in 2023 to avoid the $150,000 buyout that they'd have to pay to break up the conference, to break up the non-conference schedule that they put together with Grand Canyon. So instead of paying the $150,000, they went there and they lost, and it hurt them in the rankings. They didn't want to play this in a conference game. They didn't want Grand Canyon in the conference. But you know what? They got fast-tracked by the Mountain West into the conference this year, which was opposed by the Aztecs and all the departing schools. And San Diego State, Boise State, Fresno State, Colorado State, Utah State are suing the conference because of it, accusing the Mountain West and the schools part of the Mountain West of secretly adding Grand Canyon before their departure. They could have waited till next year, but they went in and they did it sneakily behind the back of the teams leaving, as kind of another jab back at the teams that are leaving the conference, which doesn't bode well for the conspiracy that the Mountain West Conference never really liked San Diego State and it was always trying to hose them. And I think that's true. I mean, the way the Mountain West Conference has treated San Diego State since they've been a member, especially in basketball, is a massive reason why the Aztecs needed to get out of the Mountain West Conference as quickly as possible. So the whole Grand Canyon thing, like by the school, the biggest middle finger back that the Aztecs could give the Mountain West on the way out is going into the game tonight and beating the doors off Grand Canyon, which is going to be tough for them. It's a hostile environment, psychological test. Who knows if any kid on the Aztecs got some nasty text messages last night. But the thing is, the Aztecs have been here before. They have understood. They have played in this arena before. It's not impossible. But this is a big game against the team that it would really send a message to the Mountain West as you walk out. Look, I have made fun of the Aztecs' little power act thing that they have with the Pac-12 as much as anybody, but I tell you what, it's still way better than being in the Mountain West, especially with this crap that they continue to pull against the Aztecs and their flag bearer teams. If you look at the Mountain West Conference as a whole, let me ask you this question. It's kind of off topic, but not really. Because my friends like to brag about their different conferences and the teams, and they like to use the flag bearer of the conference, right? And so, as much as I got to deal with the little chihuahua that is the Power Act 12 barking at me as a Big 12 fan, and that's not from Aztec people, that's from my friend that's a Washington State fan, about how we're the same conference. We're not. The conversation goes to the flag bearer of the conferences. Well, who's your flag bearer? Who's your marquee team? I will say this. In the Mountain West Conference, the flag bearer of the conference has been San Diego State. It's been San Diego State in basketball.
For basketball, sure. Yes.
In football, to be honest with you, aside, like they had 2 bad years, but in football, the Aztecs during 2020, 2021, before that, they were really the flag bearer in football too for a long time. Like they had started to pass Boise State, and then they decided to hire Rock. And then they decided to go with Brady Hoke after the Rocky Long decided to leave, and it all went downhill after that. But I would say that the 2 flag bearers of the conference, the Mountain West Conference in all sports, had been Boise State and San Diego State. Those are the 2. And those are the 2 schools that kept getting hosed by the Mountain West Conference in a lot of different decision-making. And this is another last step for the Mountain West as those schools leave, because there's a reason why they're leaving, and it's because of how they haven't been taken care of as the flag bearers of the conference. Why do you think USC and UCLA left? Well, USC left because they were the flag bearer of the Pac-12 with Oregon. They just had to pull somebody along with them. But USC lost the Pac-12 because they were tired of having to play Thursday night games on the road in Pullman, setting themselves up for failure. San Diego State's in the same boat, and as the Aztecs leave, and again, I like throwing the I have to deal with the power act all the time. I still think it would have been better for them to go to a different conference. But you know what? I will say this. It's all about survival for San Diego State in this grand scheme of conference realignment. And the Pac-12 is still better than the result of staying in the Mountain West. I will say that. So by that, it's a good move. We'll see what the TV contracts are like. But San Diego State is way better off in the power in the Power Act 12 and the Pac-12 than they are staying in the Mountain West. So from that perspective, it's good. But I will say this. This is the final kind of like this is a good chance for San Diego State to say, we're bleeping out of here. Enjoy your lower level conference that you guys are going to have with UTEP and Grand Canyon as we go for better and greener pastures. And I hope that's the message that the Aztecs send tonight against Grand Canyon.
Yeah, that's it has to be a complete game that San Diego State plays tonight. I believe it's 5:00 on FS1.
It's an
tonight.
8 p.m. Pacific time start.
Oh, what the heck game was I looking at? 5:00 on FS1.
You see 8 and you're like, it's too late. It's got to be an East Coast time.
No, but it's going to have to be a complete game. It's going to take a full team effort, especially tonight, to get through Grand Canyon. And as far as the conference stuff, leave that stuff for the coaches. I mean, if the coaches want to take jabs at the conference, that's fine. Just make sure the players are focused on the on-the-court issues that they need to take care of tonight. Just make sure that they're ready to go for a full 40 minutes this evening.
We're gonna have to do without Magoon Guan tonight.
Yes.
And again, this is why they had to get out of this conference. Because basketball, they're set in the new Pac-12 because they got Gonzaga, and they're honestly taking the better teams and Fresno.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Fresno State. You're taking the better teams out of the Mountain West and putting in, and so you only have to play the good teams, and so your metrics are going to be better. You have to play a difficult team in Grand Canyon that doesn't have the metrics, and it's going to hurt your at-large bid. That's what's frustrating about this game for the Aztecs. And that's why they never wanted to play this game. It's a tough place to play. It's hard to play there. And if they lose, they're going to be punished for it. If they win, they're not going to get rewarded for it. And that's what makes the Mountain West Conference so difficult for San Diego State, is stuff like that. Mm-hmm. At least, as one says, at least Fresno State makes up for it in football. They're not going to be the Jets of the Pac-12. Basketball conference, the future Pac-12, and then there's Fresno State. Fresno State basketball is bad. So anyway, Aztecs tonight, 8:00 against Grand Canyon. Hopefully they send the message. It's going to be a tough game. We'll see how they do. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Gwen and Chris coming up next.